Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. You can tell still getting over a little bit of the crud. I feel better today. We'll see how it goes over the next 4 hours. But thanks for joining us this morning. If you wanted to hear, a lot of yelling and pounding of my mom's work table, then I don't know, man. You think you came to the wrong place. People were tweeting me last night, you need to unload on this team tomorrow. And I don't know. I think you heard of it enough. I think you heard it enough yesterday on the radio station. Paulie, do I got an echo on me?
Yeah, I keep telling you to mute yourself, but I just did it, so you're good.
You did it for me. Thank you. Yeah, I think you heard enough screaming and yelling yesterday on 97.3 The Fan. I'm going to spare you guys in the morning because I was thinking about it. You wake up first thing in the morning. Last thing you want to hear is somebody screaming at you, and I'm gonna refrain from that. Maybe Ben will want to, maybe Paul will want to, but I'm not going to today because I can't really scream. I don't feel great. I am Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
You gonna do some yelling and pounding your fist today?
No, I love our audience too much to yell at them right now. I'm
Fair
tired.
Enough. Ben Higgins
I don't feel like doing that.
Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Benjamin, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Probably not in a yelling mood either. It's been a long couple of days. I did want to I did want to thank everybody, all the well wishers, thinking about my son. Good news, out of the hospital, was resting very comfortably last night, and hopefully well on the road to recovery. But so many people reached out, and I appreciate all the kind comments and messages that I received from tier ones and even colleagues. Had our afternoon hosts all reach out to me, which was very nice of them. But everything's going in the positive direction right now. So just wanted to thank everybody for their good thoughts.
Rob says we need to unload Friday. You guys are too soft, T.O. Too soft. Stop being nice. You guys are so frustrating. Okay. Yeah. I will absolutely ask Mike Schilt the question on Friday of, why aren't you playing your all-stars? I think that's a very fair question. He's been asked it every day. I think that is a fair question. He may not feel that way, but I think it's definitely fair to ask, and I think Ryan O'Hearn in the game he had last night, it was just poetic, right? It was poetic after all the discourse yesterday about, who should be in the lineup and all that. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely fair to ask Mike Schilt that question. So, absolutely have no problem asking him that. Have no problem asking him about the lineup. We've asked him before. But, at the end of the day, man, this team's 2 games out. I see a lot of comments about, they're weak, they're mentally weak. They're just in a skid right now, man. They are absolutely in a skid, a 4-game skid. Can they pull their way out of it? They can. They've done it a million times this year. I'm just not super upset. I'm not super angry about it because, well, there's still baseball left to be played. And, I don't know the answer of why Mike Schilt makes the lineups the way that he does. I really don't know. And Joshua says, Tatis has been in a skid for 3 months, 100%, offensively, but he's still a valuable player. Now, where would you like to see him hit? I don't know the answer to that. I really don't know where the answer is to that. I do feel like if they thought it would be better, they would do it. I don't know the reason why they wouldn't. I don't know that it's pride. I don't know that it's ego or hurt feelings. I really don't know the answer. I have no idea, but I am certainly happy to ask Schilte that question, and maybe he can give us a little bit of insight. If it comes across that we're scared of Mike Schilt, we're not scared of Mike Schilt.
I'm a little scared of Mike Schilt. I mean, I'm a little scared of a lot of people. I mean, I'm just kind of in general, I'm scared of people. I feel like, we're going to get to Friday. Keep this in mind. Ryan O'Hearn's going to start the next 3 days against righties. Almost certainly. And that question on Friday is going to be thrown back in our face. He just started the last 3 days. I knew he was going to start against righties the other 3 games of the series, so thought that was a good day to get him off against a lefty. We brought him in, used him really effectively off the bench for a home run. What do you want of me? I mean, I would be frustrated if I was Mike Schilt too, knowing, I gave him a day off. He hit a home run, started him the next 3 days against righties, knowing that's what's coming up in the order. It's not that unusual, and I've seen the Padres fan base kind of losing their mind about this. This is not so unusual. Personally, I probably would have given Luis Arraez a day off and let Ryan O'Hearn have a chance to start at first base yesterday, but it's not the it's not the negligent decision that I think the Padres fan base wants it to be. Like Mike Shildt isn't even thinking about playing Ryan O'Hearn. I promise you, he thinks pretty carefully about the lineup every single day, and for reasons, some of which may not be completely transparent to us at all times. He decided on the lineup that he did yesterday. Did it cost the Padres a game? I mean, would Ryan O'Hearn have homered every single time against Robbie Ray? He got an at-bat against him. He homered against him. Might have gone 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and the other 2 at-bats. We don't know the answer to that question. But I promise you that Mike Shildt is not doing this willy-nilly. He doesn't have a vendetta against Ryan O'Hearn. He's thinking about his lineups when he puts them out. I know that is absolutely true.
I think, we can go through this again for the entire effing day if we want. But, if it were me, I would play my all-stars. I would play them. And if we lost.
Does that include Luis Arraez, or he wasn't an all-star this year, so you don't have to play him anymore? He's been an all-star, I think, a couple of times at least. So I think Mike Shildt likes to play Luis Arraez most of the time.
Well, we know he likes to play Luis Arraez most of the time, but I do think that you could, like, for example, I've texted a couple of people I know, and I said, if you had the lineup, where would you, that are, they've done this, where would you hit Luis Arraez? They said 7th or 9th. And I said, yeah, I don't think anybody in the world would have a problem with that. He has not been your typical Luis Arraez that he normally is this year. With Jackson going down, it's going to give guys a chance. You could feasibly get O'Hearn, Arraez, and Sheets in a lineup every day. You feasibly could do that. So there's a lot to, injuries often will play a part. And somebody made the good point, Ben. I don't know that it was exactly strategy pinch hitting, because if Jake Cronenworth hadn't got hit by a pitch, he was absolutely going to take that AB there. I think he was hurt, and I don't know that it was some strategy, brilliant button pushed. I think it was a matter of necessity. So I think O'Hearn's probably a better first baseman than Luis Arraez defensively. And honestly, like he's hitting lefties, albeit a much smaller sample size, better than Luis Arraez is this year. So I think, at this point, it's the fan base is going to continue to self-immolate until they win games. That's how I feel.
I was texting with AJ Cassavell yesterday, and he made the point that Mike Shildt did make some changes last year. Jake Cronenworth had been batting near the top of the order, Jackson Merrill near the bottom. Everyone had screamed for months, move Jackson up. And then finally in September, he made the last change for the stretch run. But he was very committed to trying to keep a consistent lineup during the dog days of summer, during August, didn't want to change up things too much before, kind of settling in for that last stretch run. Whether or not he's doing that, he probably will never say what exactly is on his mind. I will say what's on my mind, though. This is not foreplay, and I'm not usually the one to say this. How did we already get into this? We can talk about this for 4 hours, Woods. I want to know how things are going at your house. In particular, I had the realization yesterday as you've gone home to visit your parents in Texas, and it was great having Gary on the show yesterday. That was absolutely fun. My favorite segment of the day. I realized that I have not spent the night at my own parents' house since I moved out, almost 30 years ago after college, and I got my own place. And, because I live in the same town, there's never been a reason for me to spend the night at their house. I mean, go over, have dinner, holidays, whatever, but I always go back to my own house and my own bed at the end of the night. And I wanted to know, what's it like as a 50-year-old man now living back in your parents' home, even temporarily?
I got to tell you, man, it's so weird that you brought that up, because I had this crazy thing that happened yesterday, a couple of little instances. So I wasn't feeling well, and it's such a bummer. You come in to take care of your dad and do stuff for your mom to help out around the house, and you feel like death warmed over, and I felt like crap after the show. So I walked out. My dad goes, "Hey, I'm feeling good. Go get a nap. And we'll see you later." I go, "You need anything?" "No, I don't." So I go back to my room. I pull the covers up over my head, and I take a nap till 2 p.m. here. So noon to 2. I shuffle out at 2, make a big plate of barbecue, leftovers. Then I eat it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to bed. And I stopped before I got to the door, and I go, this must bring back some really bad memories for you. Me coming out of my room at 2 p.m., eating, then going back to bed, and he just died laughing. So then, so I went back in my room for a bit. Then I came out.
Is your room still your room, or what has been done to your room?
No.
This isn't even the house you really were in, right? This is a different house.
No, this is not the house that I grew up in. And so then I walked out. We hung out for a bit, and then I go, all right, well, I'm feeling like crap. It's super sunny outside. Let me go get some vitamin D. Let me jump. They have a great pool. I said, let me jump in the pool. So I went out. I dove in the pool. I swam. I made some phone calls by the side of the pool.
Does Garrett keep that pool heated?
No, well, the sun in Texas at 98 degrees keeps the pool heated.
I'm going to say that's pricey to keep that pool heated just in case your son happens to stop by unexpectedly.
Bro, it is. You dive in and it's like tepid bath water, but it still feels great. So I kind of hung by the pool, and then I was sitting in the pool, and I go, this is so weird, man. This is like, I feel like I just got out of rehab or something, or like, yeah, Hannah kicked me out. Thanks for letting me crash here for a while. Now, granted, mind you, I've got a family back home. I did work. I did a full morning show from this house that morning, and I still felt like, oh my God, I felt like I've never been here without my family or my wife. You know what I'm saying? I've never, ever been to this home by myself. And so I did. I felt like a guy that just got out of rehab and was like, oh, getting back on my feet, folks. Thanks for having me. I really did. I felt kind of like a dirtbag, even though I know I didn't, my wife didn't kick me out. I didn't leave them. I'm just here visiting and helping out. So I went and got dinner for us and did all that. But man, come 7:00, everyone's beat. Everyone went to bed. I got in bed. I stayed up I made it about 5 innings before I absolutely sacked out on cold meds. And, and I woke up to the incredible stories this morning. I want to say God bless the Colorado Rockies. Thank you for making my morning a little bit better, a little bit more tolerable this morning, as they did beat the Dodgers in walk-off style last night. That's fantastic. Was not expecting that. But, man, yeah, as it pertains to being home, Benny, it's weird. It is a weird feeling.
Is it a scary preview in case your life goes completely off the rails at some point and, you have to move back? I think that's always a fear. Like, what if I have to move back in with my parents at some point? And things have gone wrong somewhere that I have to come knocking at the door and go, hey, can I live with you for a while I get my feet back under me? I don't know. That's like a personal fear of mine for some reason. I'm sure my parents would love to have me if that was ever the case, but I still feel like that would mean I have failed at life somehow.
I feel like you could do a lot worse than here. And the worry is that I'm getting too comfortable, right? That's the thing, is like, because when I walked out yesterday, I go, do you need anything? He goes, no. He goes, I go, can I fix you something to eat? No, I'm good. Okay. And he's like, I'm just so worried that you're going to be bored. And I looked at him and I laughed and I go, Dad, I just did my show, which means I can check that box for the day. I worked. I said, my kids are in school back home. I don't have to do pickup. I don't have to do bath time. I go, this is like fantasy camp. This is relaxation fantasy camp for me. If there's anything you need, like, please let me know. That's why I came. But he's like, no, I want you to feel better. Go in your room. I was like, well, this is fantastic.
Steven, go to your room.
Yeah, go to my room. No complaints out of me at all. It's great being home. We hung out last night, and like I said, man, everyone was pretty bushed after the day, and everyone hit the sack early. It's actually really nice, man. A really, really nice scene. I'm sure my wife is loving hearing this right now. She's literally not. She's not texting me back, by the way. Like, I said, good morning. She said, good morning. I said, how are you? And then she said, good. So we'll see. But yeah, it's like a vacation with no kids after a vacation, Eric. It's very strange. But I did have the feeling of, like, swimming in the pool yesterday was the one that got me, where I was like, oh boy. Like, I could feel being 19 again, and my dad looking out the window and shaking his head going, is this loser ever going to make something of himself? And I'm sitting there going, in my own head, but I have made something of myself. I've actually done everything I wanted to do. Does
your mom want to do things like, hey, can I do some laundry for you? Can I help you out? Because my mom is like that when I'm at home. Like, she's always, can I get you a cup of tea? Can I get you this? Can I get you that? And you feel very well cared for by your mother at home.
And my father. My father has always been very that way too. He doesn't like to impose, and he I think he feels being, not up to 100%, that he's imposing on me somehow. And I go, no, whatever you need, man. Whatever you need. My mom's actually working these. She worked yesterday and today, but then she's off, and me and her are going to go after the show tomorrow. Going to go. She's like, I want to take you shopping. I'm like, Mom, I'm 50. You don't have to take me shopping anymore.
Let her take you shopping. I want to hear about going shopping.
She loves
I loved
it.
Going shopping with my mom and my grandma.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I haven't done it in a long time. Gone shopping with my mom. She takes my kids now shopping because I'm a bad shopper, so she'll go and take my boys shopping, and I'm sure they love it.
I promise you, they love shopping with her more than they love shopping with you. That's
sure
one thing I can promise you. Elisa wants to know: is Hannah going to get a little break soon? So, Elisa, the day I get home is Friday. She leaves on Saturday morning for a trip with her girlfriends back to Kauai. So she will get a break. I hope she doesn't even call me or text me. I hope she just forgets that she has a family. Just let her be. And boy, she's earned it big time. But it's crazy. It's a weird feeling, man, to be home without my family. It is so weird.
All right, that's an update from Woods. Paulie, anything going on that you need to share with us?
No, I'm feeling better than I did yesterday.
Good. I've got one pet peeve to get off my chest quickly. Very, very fast before we set the menu and get talking more about the game last night and the Xander Bogaerts home run that wasn't. We'll get to all of that momentarily. So I don't know if you guys saw the Powerball jackpot has gotten pretty big again, as it does usually once or twice a year. No one's won in like 33 drawings. It was over $600 million last night. I do not generally play the California lottery because, well, math. I know the odds are infinitesimal about winning. But when it gets big enough, you probably have this happen at your own office. Someone at the office sends out an email.
The old office pool.
Can you, if you want to throw in $5 or $2 or $10 or whatever, we're going to buy a group of tickets. And then if we win, we'll split all the winnings. I don't want to do that because I know we're not going to win. And we didn't win last night, I believe. But I feel so much pressure like, all right, what if they did win? I don't want to be the one who's left at work that didn't win the pool when my other colleagues have all won and shared $600 million. Even after the lump sum and the taxes, they're probably still all walking away with, $30, $40 million each, probably out the door, never to be seen again. And I'm left with like the three schlubs who didn't get into the pool at the end. So I feel compelled to just waste my $2 or whatever in contributing to this pot that we have no chance of actually winning. And so I did. And because I don't want to be the only one who didn't win the lottery.
Is it a jerk move then to pressure everyone in the office?
I don't want to do the office pools. I don't want to do the office pools.
Why not? It's like $2 or whatever.
Well, that's the thing, though, because I feel very much like I can't not do it at that point because of the $1 trillionth of a chance that they're going to win. And I'm more worried about how I'd feel if they all won. I mean, it would be like one of the most devastating feelings in life, right? I'm more scared about that. I don't care that I don't win. I don't play. I never play. Someone wins every time, but I don't feel guilty about that. But the idea that all my colleagues could win without me is absolutely terrifying to me.
Well, then, if it's terrifying, you just put the $2 in every time.
I did, and I will the next time, and I will the next time, and I'm just continuing to waste the $2 every single time.
Now, my dad's here, and he probably doesn't want me to tell this story, but I've told this before, and I think you guys know this. I told you about the hole-in-one pool at his club when we were growing up, when I was in college.
I remember
that, belonged to a country club. And when you sign up, they said it's $1 a month for the hole-in-one pool. And there's say there's 500 members, and everybody puts in. Well, nobody gets a hole-in-one for a while, and it builds up. So I come home from college, I'm visiting, and I tee off on the 17th hole, and I hit a 9-iron, 144 yards into the hole-in-one. So I'm sitting here thinking I've just collected a king's ransom as a college student by getting a hole-in-one under my dad's, guest pass. And I think guests were eligible because I signed up, under his deal. Go to collect my money. And they said, no, your dad did. He opted out. And I said, excuse me? They said, yeah, he opted out. I'm like, he was like a scratch golfer at the time, too, which seems a little bit short-sighted. You could have paid the $12 a year and you could have won because you're really good. And I was really looking forward to at least a couple of grand And I found out he opted out of that $1 a month. He's probably here lurking somewhere to hear that story.
I mean, a hole-in-one's like 1,000,000 times more likely than winning the lottery, too. That's
how
unlikely the lottery is.
And, well, think about if you're the club champion, perhaps, at that time.
Exactly.
Gary Woods with a 63.
Most golfers have a hole-in-one or two in their lifetime. It's going to happen. Most people are not going to win the Powerball in their lifetime, for sure.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think you get that. You throw that $2 in just to placate everybody, and again with that very off chance that you win, you'd jump in traffic if all your teammates won and you didn't. You would jump into traffic.
It would be
speaking of traffic,
the worst. I want to hear stories. I want to see a story of the person at work who that one work that did win the lottery jackpot, and the one schlub in the corner who said, "Nah, I don't have $5 today. I'm not going to get in." And what it felt like to be them the next day showing up at work when the rest of your colleagues are all millionaires and you're still toiling away for, $17 an hour or whatever it was. I want to know that
it's
story.
Incredible. It's incredible.
All
and
right.
I may have
I'll
confirm with my dad that it was $1. It could have been $10 a month. I don't know what it was, but my recollection, it was $1 a month.
Yeah, you got to
make sense.
Ben, you'd have to find a story of like the office pools winning.
Yes.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah, there's been a
but
few.
You never see those stories. It's always like this guy in Oregon won at this local 7-Eleven here.
Yeah, but there are the office pools that win, and there's got to be the people who didn't participate in the office pool. I want to know where those people are, because I mean, they must be the saddest people on earth, I would think. All right, let's check traffic. We'll come back, a quick set of the menu, and then we'll get going on a busy Tuesday morning here with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. It's 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Oceanside Police Department, now hiring public safety dispatchers. Well, now's the time to be out on the roads. Nothing going on just yet. Everything looks great out of the South Bay, the bridge in decent shape heading over to Coronado. So far, you're looking good coming out of the East County, and South 15, South 5, both cooperating nicely coming down from the North County. The Oceanside Police Department is hiring public safety dispatchers, earn up to $87,000 a year. Lateral bonus is up to $11,000. 12-hour shifts, 3-day work weeks, paid holidays, benefits, and retirement. Apply at joinopd.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We got a fourth straight Padres crap-up loss to wrap up from last night in our next segment. By the way, last time the Padres lost 4 in a row, it's about 3 weeks ago, and then they ran off 14 of their next 17 wins right after that. So it's not like they haven't done this already in the second half of the season. Let's keep that perspective in mind. We'll get to that. We'll talk about the Xander home run call, the controversy from last night's game. I got pretty irate, as did Mike Schilt last night after the game, as did Sammy Levitt after the game. And then there were people completely on the other side of the debate as well. Should it have been a home run or not? We'll talk about that coming up. Jesse Agler will join us at 8:35 on Incorporator Tuesday, get his thoughts on what's been going on with the San Diego Padres from the voice of the Padres. And in and around that, got our regular features. We also have some giveaways today, and including some tickets to the Padres Giants game coming up for the Michael King bobblehead night on Wednesday. And we're going to play something new. We're going to break out Ben's box, and I will
Ben's big box.
Ben's big box. So I will explain how we're going to give away the Padres tickets a little bit later on in the program. So stay tuned for your chance to win
Ben's box.
We will come back though, talk Padres baseball with last night's 4-3 loss to the San Francisco Giants. Another frustrating one for your Padres. That is coming up next. Stephen Woods, Paul Reindl, Ben Higgins on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, my ode to EcoWater. EcoWater, I miss you so. How much you'll never know. I will tell you right now, it's the worst part about traveling is being away from the EcoWater. I mean, I miss my family, obviously, right? But other than them, I do miss the EcoWater, filling up my big, giant jug of EcoWater every single day, bringing it to work, filling it up at work with the delicious EcoWater that we have there. Now I'm drinking bottled water here. It's just not the same. We've got the EcoWater system in our home. Get it in your home. You will be very happy that you did. You can try the Soft Life and alkaline water for now just $9.95 a month. Have them at least come out get a free in-home water test today. They come in, test your water, they shake it up, and they say, look, this is what you guys are showering in. This is what's going through your pipes, all this sediment, all this weird stuff in there. And you look at it and go, I can't believe this. This is what we've been cleaning our fruit in and feeding our pets and our kids, making bottles with. It's truly crazy. Get this thing. It doesn't cost a ton of money. 760-350-3338 or visit ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you over there. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925. Eco Water. Your water should be perfect.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples, calling all parents and teachers. At Staples, your back-to-school budget is officially saved by the button, the easy button, with supplies as low as 25 cents plus laptops up to 40% off and more. Deals on top brands and trending styles. Find it all at Staples. That was easy. If you missed it, of course, yesterday, Jackson Merrill held out of the lineup, did not play in the game last night due to the ankle injury he suffered on Friday. Coming out of the box on a single in the ninth inning where his spike got caught in the dirt. Clearly kind of twisted, rolled his ankle. Did finish that game and played on Saturday, but had to come out of Sunday's game and then was not in the lineup. Mike Schilt talked about it before the game, said they're still evaluating the severity of the injury, whether it was possible he might be able to come in and pinch hit or something later in that game today, but also sounded like it might be possible that they'll have to put him on the shelf for a few days as well. So that's another thing, Woods, that the Padres have to deal with going forward. They might not have their regular center fielder for at least a period of time right now, which is a pretty important week here with the Dodgers coming back to town in a couple of days.
Yeah, it is. And luckily for us, though, we've got other guys that can fill into those roles. And, I think a lot of the lineup discourse is going to be squashed pretty soon because of necessity, right? I think with Jackson being out, you saw one iteration of it last night, and I understand, getting Beej out there in center field for his defense. It's fine, at this point it's fine. But I know we're going to talk about O'Hearn more today. I know we're going to talk about Gavin Sheets more today. You've got some options. Mike Schilt has some options now. Whether he chooses to employ those or deploy those options, that's up to him. But we can certainly talk about what his options are going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to consider what your team looks like defensively as well. I think
correct. You absolutely do.
I think outside of the O'Hearn debate, you should have enough offense now that you shouldn't have to worry necessarily about every single guy having to produce at the plate every single game. I think the problem at the moment is that Manny Machado remains in a big slump here in August.
Yep.
These last four games look a lot different if Manny is swinging the bat well. I mean, they probably win 2, even 3 of them if Manny comes through like a normal Manny, a couple of hits, a home run here or there. That makes a huge difference. Yeah. 3 of these 4 losses are 1-run losses in games that the Padres had multiple opportunities, to score, runners in scoring position, especially on Sunday, had a ton of chances to win that game. And if Manny,
not yesterday, but the other ones
on Sunday they did.
The other ones
yesterday they didn't.
Well, you said in the last 4 games the last 3 or 4 have been 1-run games. They had multiple opportunities to score.
Not yesterday. Yeah, Sunday
they couldn't even get anybody on.
Yeah, they definitely struggled more yesterday offensively, but I feel like if, Manny is Manny, it makes a huge difference, and he's just slumping right now, which, every player goes through slumps. The Chicago Cubs are going through massive slumps right now. Pete Crow Armstrong was the best player in baseball. He's hitting 160 in the month of August. Kyle Tucker is hitting 160 and was an MVP candidate.
He's not had a home run in a month. That's Kyle Tucker. And yeah, I mean, it's just the worst type. Actually, it's not the worst time of year to have it. The worst time of year to have it happen is next month, which, by the way, is rapidly approaching. So, you want to get some guys. Yeah, in the month after that, you want to get these guys really hitting the ground running come September, October. I of course you worry about it, but it's not going to keep me up at night. I do have faith that some of those guys will hit their way out of it at this point, those guys being Nando and Manny. I mean, they're just too good not to.
I will say, Paulie, rarely do players go through long slumps in October, because if you go through a slump for about 3 days, your season's over. Yeah. It's not going to be very long. So most guys have hot Octobers, or they're just gone from the playoffs pretty quickly.
Get them firing in September. But yeah, these again, it didn't feel like the dog days, Bill. Bill in the chat, these are the dog days of August. Man, it didn't feel like the dog days this time last week. It felt like these guys are going to push through August at a fever pitch, and they've hit the skids a little bit.
All right, let's go through what happened last night. Plenty of things to discuss and debate in a one-run game. Lost to the Giants, our Padres Wrap-Up, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is brought to you by the Oceanside Police Department, now hiring public safety dispatchers. Well, now's the time to be out on the roads. Nothing going on just yet. Everything looks great out of the South Bay, the bridge in decent shape heading over to Coronado. So far, you're looking good coming out of the East County, and South 15, South 5, both cooperating nicely coming down from the North County. The Oceanside Police Department is hiring public safety dispatchers, earn up to $87,000 a year. Lateral bonus is up to $11,000. 12-hour shifts, 3-day work weeks, paid holidays, benefits, and retirement. Apply at joinopd.net. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame if they lose.
You got a problem.
Oh, a shame indeed.
I couldn't agree more.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
What the heck happened? Are you kidding me?
Can't even believe it.
It's the Padres
Wrap-Up.
presented by Hamul Casino. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the pump and figure it out.
On bad. Ramos sends this one in the air to deep left field, though. Laureano is at the wall, leaps up, it's going to go. A leadoff homer for Elliot Ramos. And the Giants take a 1-0 lead on the fourth pitch of the game. 0-1 to Devers. He rips one in the air deep to right field. Fernando is back at the wall. This one also will go. Back-to-back home runs to begin the night for Elliot Ramos and Rafael Devers. And it's the Giants ahead 2-0, 6 pitches into the game. 1-1 pitch. Flores in the air to deep left field. Laureano is back. He's at the wall again. This one gonna go. Wilmer Flores. Third home run in the first inning for the Giants. This one a 2-run shot, and it is 4-0. 3-1. Bogart swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Ramos is back, feeling for the wall. At the fence, he's got just enough room to reach up, and he can't make the catch. It goes into the first row and a home run. Ramos thought that a fan interfered, but it looked from here like he reached over the wall, which makes it fair game and home field advantage for Xander Bogaerts, 11th of the season. Padres are on the board. It's 4-1.
This is why, as an outfielder, you should jump regardless. I think that's the only reason why the fan was able to make a play. He stayed on his feet, and indeed, he's going up over the wall, and it came out of his glove. No one touched it. He just dropped it. This will go down as a homer for Xander Bogaerts, whether they challenge this or not.
After review, the call on the field was overturned. It was spectator interference. Runners out.
Ball to strike the pitch. And Iglesias grounds it to the left side. Schmidt gobbles it up, drops it, picks it up, throws to first, not in time, and the throw gets away into the stands, and Bogaerts will come in to score. O'Hearn facing Robbie Ray for the first time. A 1 pitch, swung on, hit in the air to deep center field. Lee's going back. He's at the wall. He's going to watch. It's going to go! Ryan O'Hearn, a 2-run pinch hit homer, and a 1-run game in the bottom of the 7th.
What a weapon to have come off the bench in a big spot.
Trying to keep this game going or end it with one swing. The 3-2 in the air to left field, not deep. Ramos comes in. He will make the catch, and the ball game is over. And a weird night at Petco comes to a close with the Giants hanging on for a 4-3 win in Game 1 of this 4-game series.
There was no clear evidence that fan impeded his ability to make a play, created a different in how he moved and his actions, went over the fence. None of it was clear. But somehow in the explanation, it was clear after 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Well, I'd like to see an angle that makes it clear because I've yet to see it. And I just had 8 innings to watch it. And we lost by a run.
Oh, man. Woo! I was a little surprised by that. I was a little surprised by that overturn myself.
Well, Tony Gwynn Jr. was shocked by it, clearly. I mean, he went through a very long explanation as to how there was no chance it was going to be overturned there. And then, of course, nice little editing, and then it gets overturned on the home run. But that's not I mean,
he's going up over the wall, and it came out of his glove. No one touched it. He just dropped it. This will go down as a homer for Xander Bogaerts, whether they challenge this or not.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. It was spectator interference.
Shocking. It was shocking.
So the game wasn't lost there, though. The game was lost in the first inning, as three of the last games have been, with crooked numbers by the opposition against the Padres starting pitcher. 3 runs on Saturday, 4 runs on Sunday, or 3 runs on 4-3-4, whatever it was. 85% of the runs the Padres have given up the last 3 games have been in the first inning. Nestor Cortes, given up 3 home runs in the first 5 batters, is clearly like what was going on there. And he said after the game, he threw against the Giants in his last start and threw pretty well. I gave up 1 run in just under 5 innings. And he kind of went with the same strategy. And the Giants clearly were like waiting on that. They ambushed him on fastballs early. And then after that, he realized, okay, I'm going to adjust. And he threw a bunch of changeups the rest of the way. Obviously made it almost through 6 innings and pitched much better. But credit to the Giants. They had a good game plan. Came out, ambushed him. Cortes did what a veteran pitcher does. He adjusted after that. But the damage was done so fast, he wasn't really able to do anything about it in the first few batters. I mean, by the time he figured out what was going on, it was already 4-0. Usually you have more of a chance to figure out what the batters are doing before it gets out of hand in, less than 3 or 4 minutes. And unfortunately for Nestor, the great adjustments he made just came, too late for the Padres to come all the way back and tie up the game at some point.
1 hit through 7 innings doesn't help.
Well, yeah. I mean, offensively, the Padres also, Robbie Ray's an all-star. He's a good pitcher. He was good the last time. Padres found a way to get a few runs against him and win the game because they had a better pitching performance. This time, took until the 7th inning before they could finally get some runs. But ultimately, Padres have to be better in the first inning somehow, some way. They can't keep digging themselves into these early deficits because you're just going to lose the game most of the time when you fall behind 3 or 4-0 in the first inning.
I mean, it's so disheartening to have to crawl back every single game. And, fine. You want to give them credit for making it a game? I do. I give them some credit, big swings late in the game. But again, man, you're talking about coming back from 4 runs. It's just not it's not something that we can overcome a lot. And I'll tell you, I was tweeting kind of sarcastically with a buddy last night on Twitter. And he said, it doesn't make sense to have a super pen if you never get a lead. And I said, yeah, that kind of backfired, didn't it? And the way the starting pitching has gone lately, there's no need for a super pen. There's no need. In fact, it actually hurts you because you're like, well, all we have are these really high leverage arms, but, our starters are getting roughed up. Again, credit to Nestor Cortes for at least going, 5 2/3 or whatever he went last night, eating up some innings because, damn near every arm is high leverage down there. So, you have to get a lead to make this thing work. That inevitably falls on the starting pitcher and the offense. They have to prevent runs early and we have to score runs early. And so far, it worked really admirably in the first, week or so after the trade deadline. But the last 4 games, it hasn't gone that way.
I mean, let me be clear. I'm not worried about Nestor Cortes. I think he's a pretty good pitcher. I'm glad they have him on the team. He showed that by making the adjustment very quickly. Usually, adjusting after 5 batters and holding a team scoreless after that, normally that's a pretty good day for a pitcher. The fact that the Giants did so much damage in 5 batters is kind of the crazy thing. Wilmer Flores' home run wasn't even hit that hard. It was 93. It's not even considered a hard hit ball. The expected batting average was 060. I don't know just what jet stream it got into. That was a little unlucky for Nestor as well. He didn't pitch as badly as maybe that final line indicates. I would actually argue if he did what he was supposed to do in adjusting, it just, he just got blitzkrieged in the first 5 batters of the game. Ultimately, it's on the offense. They need to be more consistent. They need to be more at the top of the order. Laureano can only do so much. The new guys have been really, really good since they came over, but it's the guys who have been here who just haven't been producing enough for the Padres in the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, I again, thank you for going out. After you give up 4 runs in the first, you're throwing. I'm going to let you stay out there. and you're going to go 110 pitches, regardless. So it's up to you to make that adjustment, keep us in a ball game. Nestor absolutely did that. But I just right now it's going pretty poorly. It's going pretty poorly for the Pods right now in that they cannot find a way to scratch out a victory in the last 4 games. What else is there to say? But you got to right the ship. I mean, people for good reason, I think, are losing their minds. Look, man, because we've seen this act before. We have seen it before from this team, and we don't want to see it again. And it certainly felt different, a week ago, 10 days ago, the FU baseball that they were playing. I mean, they just were unrelenting from the first pitch of the game on. They really just never, ever let their foot off the gas. And I'm not saying that they're not giving max effort. I think they are. I think they want to win. They're just up against it right now.
As for the Xander Bogaerts home run that was overturned, and I argued with a bunch of people online last night, not that you can't see it both ways. I'm a reasonable person. I mean, maybe the fan interfered. Certainly, he was reaching there. It may have grazed his arm even. But the rule says it has to plainly keep the defender from catching the ball, and it also can't be over the wall. The defender can't be reaching over the wall, as Tony Gwynn Jr. said. And to overturn a call, you have to be, basically 100% sure that that's what's happened. And I just don't see any. I don't see any way you can be at. That was not an easy play for Elliot Ramos to make, and I just don't know how you can be so sure. Oh yeah, it's a can of corn if the fan doesn't, wave his arms in front of his face there. And I just don't see that. He might have caught it. He might have caught it. But might have caught it is not the standard that Major League Baseball applies in this rule. It has to be plainly obvious that ball was not over the fence at the time, that Ramos wasn't reaching over the fence, that it hit the fan and the fan interfered with it. And I just don't see the plain evidence. The ball ended up over the fence. He was reaching up high over the fence when it went off his glove. I just don't see how they can make that call in New York, overturning what was called on the field as a home run. Now, had they called it fan interference originally, and the umpire said, fan interference, he's out, I think then that call would have stood. I do think that call would have stood, but that's not how Major League Baseball operates their replay. It has to be conclusive evidence to overturn, especially a critical call like that. And if that's what happened on the field, to me, that has to stand. And I just don't understand the reasoning or the logic behind what they decided in New York last night, which is why Mike Shildt went out and got ejected. I think rightfully so, that, he was as confused as some of the rest of us as to what happened on that play.
And honestly, though, Benny, I disagree. I don't think Mike Shildt can get ejected there. He knows the rule. You can't argue at all a replay. He knows that. And to get thrown out that early in a game, and that's not an ejection, by the way, that's going to fire up your team. That's not hey, I'm out there sticking up for my guys. That is a very clear rule. You're going to get run for that if you set foot out, and to get ejected in the second inning or whatever. I don't know, man. Bottom of the first. I don't think you can do that. I really don't.
I think it's important to show that you want to make sure all umpires are accountable, even the ones in New York that you can't see, and take a stand for your team that, hey, we're out here putting ourselves on the line every single day. The least you can do in those offices in New York, and that was Mike Shildt was making that stand by going out there, be accountable to your own rules that you set out, your own replay rules that you have written out and stated. Be accountable to those at least. I may disagree with some of your decisions, and Mike Shildt is very respectful to umpires. How many times have we heard? Guys do a great job. It's a really tough job. Says it a million times during the season. But at the very least, they can at least operate under their own rules that they have set out of how they're going to operate their replay system. And I thought it was important for him to go out and hold those guys accountable, even though he knew it was going to result in his ejection early in the game.
I feel like it's kind of a wasted ejection. If you're going to go out there, make sure it's to get your money's worth. That's just me.
The problem is it's hard to get your money's worth when you're arguing with the guys who agreed with you to begin with. The guys the umpires at the field agreed with him. They called it a home run.
There. Yeah.
So don't go out there. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, what do you get on the phone call? You should hand them the phone and call New York and start screaming at them from the dugout. I mean, you want to show accountability some way, and that was the only way he had available to him during the game. There's no other way to do it other than express, hey, tell your guys in New York they absolutely blew that one.
Ben, I feel like, honestly, I do feel like if you were watching me and I was the manager, I feel like you would say something to the effect of, Woodsy, you have to, that rule, right? And I go, yeah, but, I wanted to give him a piece of my mind. And you'd say, well, you left your team for 8 innings, after that. You knew you were going to get run. And I just feel like it was kind of a waste. Like, you can't set foot on the field. You know that. I don't mind when he charges out there and starts screaming at umps. I dig it. But that one, you kind of know, I got no leg to stand on here. I can't argue this.
All right, we will get back to the lineup discussion. Ryan O'Hearn, is it time for him to start against left-handed pitchers? He hasn't done so yet with the San Diego Padres. That and more coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Everything okay over there, Paulie?
I hope so. Benny had to leave, and he just talked to his son, and he said his son's not doing well. Woke up just not feeling well. He was released from the hospital yesterday, but he woke up and he's not doing too hot. So Ben has to head home right now, and kind of shaken up a little. I think we both are here.
I hope everything's okay.
He was on the phone that entire commercial break, and literally like 20 or 30 seconds before the music started playing, he came in flustered and was like, I have to go. I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever you got to do. But yeah.
That breaks my heart. I'm
like, oh my God, man, I'm so sorry.
I don't know what to say. Obviously, our thoughts are with Benny and his family as he goes to take care of his son Jack. So, Jackie, I hope you're doing well. We're thinking about you. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need, Benny. If you're listening in your car or whatever, take whatever time you need. We'll figure it out. Probably going to be some bad radio for the next 3 hours, but that's all right. You've heard bad radio on this program many, many times before. I feel so unprepared, Paulie, at this point, but we will absolutely soldier on for the next 3 hours. Certainly. I need to get. I forgot what he teased. I'm a little flustered as well. So
I'm a little. Yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird transition. I mean, we had no time to like even figure anything out. I mean, literally within 30 seconds of being back from the commercial break, he just came in. He's like, I have to go. I'm like, dude, I get it. I'm not mad or anything. I was like, I totally understand.
Absolutely
totally get it. I'm like, oh, I wish we had like another 2 minutes of commercials so me and Woodsy can kind of figure something out here. But hey, we'll figure it out on the fly.
It's International Orangutan Day. We could talk about that. No, I think obviously
anybody's ever hung out with an orangutan, give us a call.
833-288-0973. Man, my heart breaks for him, honestly. Like, that really makes me sad. My little guy, Tay starts preschool today. He's the senior now. He's the big man on campus. This is his last year of preschool, and so all of his friends though have all gone into kindergarten, so he's starting fresh today. But I'm not worried about him, and I know he's probably watching right now as he eats his breakfast. Tay, have a great day at preschool, buddy. Daddy loves you, and you're gonna be fine. You're a stud. He meets everybody, so I'm just not worried about him in the slightest. Bo is very sick at home, so that's just it's like this weird week. I texted some friends last night.
For Bo?
Yeah, I said this is we've had those weeks before where like we're not feeling well, and then the team is also playing poorly, and everything in your personal life is kind of sliding downhill too. Those are the worst weeks on the planet. They really are the worst weeks. It's weird how a team winning can boost the mood, and I had really hoped for a victory last night, certainly to help boost the mood of the club, to feel like you're getting back on the right track. And in fact, I think the events of last night's game probably enraged the fan base even more, because the topic du jour yesterday was clearly, why isn't Ryan O'Hearn in the lineup? And Ryan O'Hearn's his head's got to be spinning now. He was just acquired here at the trade deadline over here from Baltimore. And made the comment when he got here, I told Schilt, play me how you need me. And I think we've all, as a collective fan base, you've seen Ramon Laureano play almost every game. You've seen Freddie Fermin play almost every game. Mason Miller's a reliever. They're going to get him in when they see fit. But with Ryan O'Hearn, it's an interesting kind of case study. And traditionally in his career, Paulie, you look at his lefty numbers and they're not great. But this season, in a much smaller sample size, 69 nice ABs, the guy is hitting lefties. I mean, he really is. He's got a WRC, weighted runs created plus, of 130. His OPS is 812. He is, since he got to San Diego, and with his 2-run homer off Robbie Ray last night, since arriving in San Diego against left-handed pitchers, he's 4 for 5 with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and a walk. He also remains one of the most clutch hitters in baseball. He's got 38 high-leverage plate appearances. His WRC plus is 197. His OPS is over 1,100. So he's a guy, for me, I'm just speaking for me, that I would try to get out there every single day, righty-lefty matchup notwithstanding, right? So I think yesterday, you saw people asking, and one thing I can tell you guys, and people have been asking, why does Mike, get upset when you question him? And I wouldn't say, I thought about this a lot yesterday, and I think it's more of a psychological, philosophical conversation than just, Schilt gets upset, because I feel the same way about my job. I do. And I'll be blatantly, brutally honest with you. A couple guys in the chat earlier, maybe they're new listeners. We come on and we do get into the game a little bit right off the bat. And then we start talking about, me being home, and we are talking about whatever. That's what we do in our opening segment, right? We warm up. We call it foreplay because that's what it is. You kiss a little bit, you do some heavy petting, and then you get into the meat, right? And so that's just what we do on this show. It's early. We got to get lubed up at 6 a.m. So we want to get some laughs going. Doesn't always work that way. But I think Schilty, when you question what he does for a living, I think he takes it personally because, well, he takes it personally. He takes it seriously. He really wants to win. And I think in his mind, he can't wrap his head around, a reporter or a radio host or a fan telling him they know more than he does. Does that make sense? And I can partly relate to that. But
I guess in this comparison that you're making between like this job and what Schilte's doing is like, I can have like self-awareness to understand that, like, yeah, maybe that guy earlier this morning, maybe it's literally his first time tuning into 97.3 The Fan, and he expected to hear hard-hitting sports at 6:10 in the morning. That's a fair, like, I can understand that, and then it's just a simple, hey man, this is how we do things. Whereas like, right. I don't know. I thought Schilt got a little snippy with AJ Cassavell yesterday, and again after the game, I think with Kevin Acee, and I'm like, shouldn't he have a little bit of that same self-awareness to go, I don't care for the question, but I understand that they're just doing a job. They have to ask this for their story.
Yeah, and it is as Zaza says in the chat. It is part of the job. It does come with the territory. It's so funny you mentioned this, and we'll play this audio in a moment, but my dad came on yesterday in the 8 o'clock hour. We were talking about his list, and he was reading his movie list, and you guys were talking to him about it. Yeah. I was sitting across the room, and I guess somebody in the chat made a comment about, let me know when we get back to sports. And my dad was like, oh, man, like, I guess not everybody loved it. And I just looked at him and I go, Dad, welcome to my nightmare every single day. He's like, I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. I said, but you're like me. You can get 100 compliments. This is the greatest. It's so funny. One guy can ruin your entire day. And I said, yeah, that's exactly it. Yvonne says, yeah, Woods, that's called ego. And maybe there is some ego involved. I think you have to have some ego to be a big league player or a big league manager. I have no problem. You have to have an ego. You do. But at this juncture, the inability or the unwillingness to move things around, hopefully it's not his downfall, right? And the team's downfall. So let's play the audio. We can get more into it and talk maybe how things could be better deployed down the road.
Like Reindl had some pretty good numbers against lefties this season. Do you consider starting him against lefties, or is that you do him as a bench bat against left-handed pitching?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Where would you have started him?
Places, there's options.
Right.
Necessarily like today or generally?
Today.
It's your call, not mine.
No, I'm just curious. He's done fine. It's more about the reason I ask is I can answer the question more specifically. Not.
Okay, well, then today there's two options. Obviously, like maybe left and Oriano center, or DH. But obviously Manny's there today.
He is there today. So Manny's been going pretty hard, and he's played up pretty much every game. So we're giving him a DH day, and Bryce is also swinging the bat well against lefties, and looking him to get an opportunity to go play some center field. So it's a really fair question and definitely consideration. just want to be specific to where that could have been. But, yeah, Ryan's done a nice job, and he is a great option for us off the bench.
Going forward, could we see that? Like, obviously, it's day-to-day, completely dependent. But.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be flexible. I mean, it's going to be relative to just the total picture of who we have on the club that day. So I think that's like every day, it's always a question of who's going to give us the best opportunity to go compete.
I mean, it's very much not an answer. He said a lot without really saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of standard these days in baseball, across the board. I do think, Ryan O'Hearn at first base, I don't know what the reluctance is of moving Luis Ariz down. And now with Jackson being out, like I said, man, you can give Luis Ariz the day off. He could actually probably use a day off at this point, right? I don't know what it is. I know. So when we acquired Luis Ariz, I talked to his manager at the time, Skip Schumacher, and he said, "Man, the dude wants to play every day." He goes, "I'll tell you right now, he's not going to be happy. Just knowing him and having managed him, he's not going to be happy DHing every day. And if that's what the Padres have in store for him, you're not going to get the best out of Luis Ariz." And again, that's coming from a guy that managed him. So I've always thought about that moving forward. For him, he's having a down year, right? He really does. He's having a down year. He doesn't do a lot of damage in the 2-hole. I do think Ryan O'Hearn potentially could be a better option. I don't think anybody in this fan base has a problem with Luis Ariz. I think we all enjoy the player and the person that he is. But I do think, down in the lineup makes him a little bit more dangerous than in the 2-hole. So again, I don't get paid to make these decisions. We all can speculate, especially when you're coming off of a 4-game losing streak. I don't blame you. I think the same thing every single time. So as far as the guys that we have available, we all begged for this, deep, long bench. And I don't know, man. I think Ariz coming off the bench every now and then would not be the worst thing for this team. I really don't.
I think he'd be one of the best pinch hitters in all of baseball, actually.
And I'd hate to relegate him to just a pinch hitter.
No.
But again,
just at times though.
I just think the ABs that at least I've seen, and I think the numbers bear out from Ryan O'Hearn, righty or lefty. I think he's a better option for you at this point. But again, I do make the point. Jackson Merrill's probably going to be out for a little bit. This will be interesting. You got right-handed guys on the bump. I think Ryan O'Hearn's going to be in the lineup, and him coming out off the bench last night to hit that home run was so friggin' poetic after all of the consternation and hand-wringing about him being in the lineup. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was hysterical. It's what always happens in baseball. I will get on here and say, so-and-so, you're not going to get much from him. That guy will go out that night and hit a home run, right? And it's just like, of course it works like that. Proving none of us really know what we're talking about. We're trying to grab as much information as we can, present it to you guys, and let you make your own decisions. None of us have control of the lineup. I'm sure we'd all do it differently if we could, but I thought it was just hysterical and poetic that he came out yesterday and ripped that home run, man. So good.
100%. I was thinking about something.
Priceless.
I've been thinking about something now for like the last few days, and I know you watch a ton of baseball, so I'd love to get your opinion on this. And I need to I guess I got to get a little bit vulnerable, because I feel like what I'm about to say is going to be interpreted as you don't know ball. Because in this world of advanced analytics and matchups, and there's been so much discussion on the advanced analytics and righty, lefty, and all of that, with O'Hearn in particular, Ariz, and the Padres lineup as a whole. And I've been like taking all of this in, and I go, at what point, like, where does the lines blend between strictly going off the matchup and advanced analytics versus he's a better hitter, a better player overall? That's who I want in my lineup today.
My dad asked me.
Do you understand what I'm asking?
Question.
You see what
I
I'm
absolutely
saying, right?
do. My dad asked me yesterday about, why don't managers ride the quote unquote hot hand anymore, or why don't managers bench the not hot hand, the cold hand, as it were? And I just looked him dead in the eye and I said, Dad, I have no earthly idea. I have no earthly idea. None whatsoever. I'm not in there. I don't know how they do it now. We do have options on this team. I do like that we have options on this team. I don't like to hearken back to the beginning of the season when it felt like we had no options. So right now, man, I think
like if MLB rosters expanded where you could have 16 or 18 bench guys, would you literally have a lefty and a righty lineup every day?
I think a lot of managers would. I think they absolutely would. And for me, man, this is how, I always go back to that scene in Moneyball where Art House says, I'm trying to play the lineup that helps me get a job next year, right? After you fire me, I don't want somebody looking going, man, you had Carlos Pena and you're starting Scott Hatteberg, right? For me, if we acquire an all-star at the deadline, I'm playing that guy. Like Ramon Laureano was not an all-star, not to my knowledge, was he? And
I don't believe he was.
He's been playing every single day. Maybe the matchups favor him better. But I'm putting those all-stars in sometimes at the expense of the guys that are already there. And that's the unfortunate part is there's only, 8 positions that you can fill in on a day-to-day basis. So, you have to be creative. But when guys get injured, when guys go cold, I don't understand sticking to something that hasn't been optimal, right? Like, and at least lately last
optimal
week
is the key word because it doesn't feel like the Padres are optimizing their lineup potential right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to. I think if you could better optimize your lineup's potential, I can live with that. I think fans can live with that, where you look at it and you go, hey, man, like, this isn't on Schilt. This is on the players. He had everybody in the right spot. He's got the all-stars in the lineup. And next thing you know, we're winning ball games, we're losing ball games, but I think we'll be okay with that, right? I think you can say, I got a whole team full of guys in there that are in the right spots and just not getting the job done. But man, when I've got all-stars sitting on my bench, it kind of makes it hard to justify. So that's kind of why he's gotten maybe a little bit snippy. Is there more audio from after the game?
We do have some audio from after the game. Yeah,
let's hear.
Here.
I know that you've liked what Ryan has done, all of his numbers. Is this the kind of thing that could earn him maybe a look against lefties, quality at bats like that against a lefty?
Yeah, I mean, he's played against lefties. We stayed and kept him in a game in Arizona against a lefty and a homer. So, I mean, I don't know how to answer your question. He's getting a lot of opportunities in at bat. So we have other guys that are doing it too. So, I mean, he's getting a lot of at bat. I don't know what else to say. He's basically an everyday guy that other guys play occasionally too.
And it's interesting because I see this a lot from my Dodger buddies. I use that term loosely. Zaza said it can be a money thing. You can't pay Arise $15 million to sit on the bench. But I thought Craig yesterday nailed it when he's like, hey, man, or Luis, am I mistaken? Luis Arise is a free agent after this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, the loyalty to guys that may or may not be here doesn't make sense. Now, Ryan O'Hearn, I believe, is also a free agent after this season. But again, I want my guys that are.
I think Craig was talking. He made that point, I think, when we were talking about Dylan Cease. But it's a blanket statement, I think, is what Craig was talking about. He was talking more about Cease because we were talking about the playoffs, and we're like, bro, who cares about like hurt feelings for a guy that's not going to be there in 2 weeks? Like,
yeah, I know. I sure don't, man. I know I sure don't. And that's something that I do want to ask the skipper Friday, and I do think it's a fair question to ask. Let's say they win tonight and the next day, and we talk to him Friday. I think it's a fair question to say, something to the effect of, you guys talk about winning a world championship all the time. How hard is it to manage feelings at the end of the day when you still want to win a World Series? You know what I'm saying?
When a decision that you think is best for the team,
right?
Chances of winning the World Series or winning that day's game, even, how does it balance with potential hurt feelings and egos? Yeah,
100%.
I would not want that job.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. So R&R is not a face of this show. Really sucks without Ben. Hey, man, we were not prepared for this today, so we are going to do the best that we can. Thank you for that drop in, though. Does make me feel better as we continue.
Ben's burner account.
It's probably Ben's burner account.
Son of
Don't text and drive, Ben. You know better than that. No, we will. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back. What do we do with Ben's spots, Paulie? Just
I'll
blow
figure
through
it
them?
out. Yeah.
All right, Paulie will figure it out.
We do have Don't Do This coming up.
Yeah, we do. We will
we got some great stuff for you guys.
Yeah, perfect. We'll be right back. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the
All right, Don't Do This, brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. I will get us started. Actually, a story that Ben brought to the table. He wanted to do it yesterday. We didn't have time for it. I thought it was hysterical. He was talking about a golfer, Ben Griffin, who was in it. He needed a really, really perfect round at the BMW Championship to win a lot of money, to stay in high in the rankings, and he did not have a good open to his round. And he had an interesting excuse, one that I thought was worthy of a discussion. He blamed an overdose of creatine on his terrible round. Stumbled out of the gate with a triple bogey on the first hole, a double on the second. So they asked him about it. They said, what happened? And he basically said, I take creatine every single morning, and I swallowed a, quote, large rock of the supplement in my water bottle. He said he was getting super shaky and felt like he had tremors. He had like a 4-putt on the first hole, hit his tee shot out of bounds on the second hole. Now, he said, I don't think I'll be taking too much creatine in the future, probably not a healthy amount, the amount that he took. Now, I take creatine every single morning, Paulie. I take the gummies, though. I take 3 creatine, maybe sometimes 4 creatine gummies every single morning. I didn't know I didn't know you could overdose. And he said, I started taking it after my second shot. I accidentally swallowed one of the big rocks in my water bottle. So it didn't dissolve. And then his caddy stepped in, made him chug an entire bottle of water, tried to calm down a little bit. But I sat there and I was like,
I have no idea what that would feel like. But yeah, I can see too much of anything. But yeah, too much of something like that. I can wrap my head around that, making you all like jittery and not feeling right.
But it doesn't, though. It doesn't have, like, if he had said pre-workout, right? I took too much pre-workout. that has gotten me. Yeah, that's gotten me many times. The pre-workout is not something I take anymore. It doesn't do me any good. It just makes me jittery, and it is not very fun at all. But creatine, I was like, that's like saying you overdosed on flour. Like I had too much flour yesterday. It didn't make sense to me because it doesn't really have that side effect at all. So I was a little bit surprised. Could have potentially been an excuse. Could have been in his head a little bit. But yeah, it's not like he was sucking down 5-hour energies or Adderall or anything like that.
Yeah, I meant to take 1 Adderall. I accidentally took 4.
Yeah, I took 4, and now I'm, hiding under my desk. But pretty interesting story. Now he realizes in his mind the error of his ways. And we are so up against it with time. Let's get to Do This.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
This was outstanding.
This was outstanding. I saw this yesterday. They were talking to it was a girl from Australia, right?
About softball World Series, I think.
Yep, softball World Series. They were talking to this girl, and listen to what that violent criminal Shohei Ohtani did.
Home run ball you hit in a game you went to? What was that? Tell me that story. So I went to LA back in 2023 to watch the Angels game in which Shohei Ohtani was still in Angels. And during that time, Kikuchi from Toronto Blue Jays was pitching, and then Ohtani was batting, and then he hit a home run into an area where the fans couldn't go. And then this guy got the ball and gave it to my brother. So the next day, we went to the VIP box at the front, and I asked for his signature, but all he gave me was a side eye and not a nice glance. So after that, I've never liked him ever since. He's not really humble, so yeah, not my style. No.
So Ohtani hits a home run into the bullpen at a game this girl was at. She, a pitcher or a coach, walked over, grabbed the ball, and threw it to her brother. They go back the next day, and they're in the VIP, with a player entrance, I think is what she was saying, and asked Ohtani to sign the ball, and he just gave her a side-eye glare and just walked right past her. Is that what I'm understanding here?
That's exactly what you're understanding, Paulie.
Man.
Ohtani turns his back on a young female fan.
Manny Machado would never.
Never, ever. Got signs for everybody when things are going good and bad. So that is don't and do this.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, and in case you missed it, Ben had to split. We're obviously really worried about him. Had to leave. His son is not doing well. I think he's going to be going back to the hospital. So I don't want to speak for him, but he had to leave the show. The next segment was catered almost exclusively for Ben. He was so excited to talk about realignment. I am not, so I'm not going to talk about realignment at all. I will tell you, coming up at 8 a.m., there's a potential that I am in trouble with the law. Again, it's been so long, Paulie. I've been keeping my nose clean for so long. And something happened yesterday. Now I'm a little bit concerned. I know you guys are concerned for me. We will share that with you.
I was a little freaked out when you sent over what you're going to reveal here at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I was a little freaked out myself. So maybe we'll have some tier ones in the audience that can steer me in the right direction because apparently I need it. But how about this? Are we out of our mind? The fan base, I mean, we're in the middle of Don't Do This. We're talking, these stories that we're talking about. Everyone is talking about. All everyone is still talking about is the friggin' lineup right now. That is all anybody wants to talk about. Do we dare open the phones and hear from the rank and file, the tier ones out there, the boots on the ground at 7:35 in the morning?
I love the tier ones. Bring it on. Let's do it.
Yeah, bring it in. Let's talk about it. We'll try to answer your questions. Place to vent, certainly, as well. If you want to call and tell people essentially, hey, we need to relax. Whatever you want to say, the phone lines are yours. 833-288-0973.
I'm just looking at the chat right now. Open it.
No,
Open the
no.
God,
please,
no. Please, no. Yes.
Phone calls are such a punt for me. They're such a punt for me, but I think we are in full punt mode right now. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with this morning. Please be good. Please make it creative. Let's have some fun, at least. But you can call in now. Quickly, I wanted to tell you about QC Kinetics. When was the last time you hopped out of bed without that knee or back screaming at you, or walked down a flight of stairs without groaning step by step? You know the feeling that, oh. Let me guess. It's in the back of your mind. Maybe it'll go away. I'm telling you, the older you get, it takes so much longer for things to heal, it feels like. It's time to call and schedule that free consultation with the medical pros at QC Kinetics. There are thousands of patients who will tell you they wish they would have done it sooner. They turned around their lives with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that work with your body to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Natural cellular therapies, no scalpels, no pills, just long-term relief with no dreaded recovery. You can even bring your x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics. They'll give you a free no-pressure chat and thorough evaluation to see if you're a good candidate. Worst case, you learn something new. Best case, you get your life back. Grab the phone right now. Give them a call today. Hillcrest and Torrey Hills is where you can find them. 619-614-PAIN. 619-614-PAIN. Once again, 619-614-PAIN.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
But I have this is the feeling that I imagine it's like standing on the top of a bridge with something around me as we're about to take calls here on Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan. Benny had to leave abruptly at 7 this morning, so it's going to be me and Paulie doing our best to hold it through. We have a lot of moving parts, things that we needed to move. Like this segment was entirely based on Ben. And all we wanted from Ben was to just bloviate his way through realignment. He has all these great ideas. I don't know what they are, so I don't want to present his ideas for him. So in a pinch, in a punt, 4th and 38, we are going to go to the phones. And we are going to do that right after we check traffic here on Ben and Woods.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Well, looks like emergency crews are doing a traffic break to clear a stalled pickup truck north 5 Coastline before Santa Fe Drive. They're going to attempt to get that from the center divide over to the right shoulder. Heading out of the South Bay, northbound 5 before Mile of Cars Way. Accident blocking the right lane. Before you hit the beach, the mountains, or even the 5 this Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Okay, Paulie, here we go. Who do we have?
All right,
who do we have
got
first?
Full phone lines this morning. Let's
oh my God!
Oh yeah, I know. Well, you know what? Let's start. We'll start with our buddy Alfredo. I know he always brings a measured take when he calls in. Alfredo, how you doing this morning, buddy?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing very well.
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, this team the last few days, Jesus Christ, has made me be in touch with my feelings, and my feelings being anger, rage, spite. I don't know. I mean, like we have the ability to start 6 bona fide all-stars and 3 that are on the fringe of being all-stars, and we cannot beat a team that is trash. I mean, like we should be able to sweep the Giants again. They should have been able to take on the Dodgers, but we can't because the pitching is giving up runs left and right, and we're playing and the guys are playing like they forgot how to play baseball. They forgot how to hit a ball. And I know it's been gone over 1,000 times that hitting a ball is one of the hardest things to do in sports. But Jesus Christ, you have Toddy, you have Machado, you have Arias, you have Merrill, you have Bogarts, all of these guys that know how to hit a ball, and they disappear. They're not anywhere to be found for certain periods of time. On the pitching side, Cease, I hope he doesn't come back next season. I mean, like it's
oh yeah,
as good as
I
he
would
is.
say that's.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to.
I'd say that's
young.
Yeah, I would say Dylan Cease is you're going to see the last of him in a Padres uniform. I can't imagine he would be back next year. And, that also begs the question, what do you do with him for the rest of the year? I think you run him out there every fifth day, hoping that it gets better, hoping that he can untap something. Obviously there was something against the Dodgers. They see him very, very well. And, we're able to spit on a lot of fairly close pitches, but not really. And, work a ton of walks. And he just, the bright lights got a little bit too big. So we'll see the adjustments that, the team makes moving forward. But I do understand what he's saying about the lineup, certainly. Let's go to the next caller, Paulie. Who do we got?
Let's see here. Let's try. Is this Matt?
Yes.
Matt, what's going on, buddy?
Hi, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks, guys. Hey, I'm calling because I hear everyone talking about O'Hearn. O'Hearn needs to be in the lineup, and I do agree with that, but I don't believe it needs to be for Arise. I think Cronenworth needs to hit the bench for a while. I think Arise is a more consistent hitter. I think Croney's the one that's got to be out.
So where would you put? You'd put Arise then back at second base. So you'd definitely be giving up defensively. And again, I always try to remember to go ahead.
Well, that being said, giving up defensively, they've said that all along. The guy's been phenomenal at first base this year. He's played above his head. What's to say it's not going to be the same at second?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's certainly an option that Mike Schilt has. I think if you put Arise where Croney hits normally and played second base, I think he'd be okay. Absolutely. I think the problem that most fans have is Luis Arise hitting in the 2-hole with a real inability to do any sort of damage from that spot. Doesn't scare the opposing pitcher. Really the only way it works, man, it literally almost the only way it works is if Fernando Tatis Jr. leads off the game with a double. That's when you're like, all right, now we're cooking. But if that doesn't happen, it's almost kind of an auto out at this point, like, ground ball to second base, pop fly to left field.
Typically, you could, in theory, you could say, or Tatis walks and then steals second, which he tries to do often, except every time he does that, Louis fouls one off and he has to go back to first.
Yeah, a 97-mile-an-hour heater a foot out of the zone. It's just for whatever reason, it seems like we were winning those games in spite of, the top of the order sometimes. And again, it's not a personal shot at Luis Arise. One of my favorite interviews we've ever done. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Love all of the energy and everything he brings to the team. I think he's a fine hitter. I just think he'd probably be better suited in another part of the lineup. O'Hearn being an everyday first baseman would, in my opinion, mean there's a lot of hurt feelings. Jake Cronenworth's feelings are going to get hurt. Luis Arise's feelings are going to be hurt. The bigger question I think we all have to ask is, who cares? Who cares? Why?
I'm sure Randy Vasquez's feelings were hurt when they traded for Sears and Cortez,
and set him down. Comes up, makes a start. They set him down. Yeah, man, it's a tough business, and I think if you want to win a World Series, you have to make those decisions, taking into account how do I keep everybody the most engaged and wanting to win. And, wanting to win a World Series is the ultimate goal. I say it all the time. Don't envy Mike Schilt. Don't envy AJ Preller when it comes to making these decisions. I don't. I think they're really, really tough decisions. And I don't know that there's a magic pill for any of it, because I do feel like if they could press the home run button, they would. And the same goes with the hitters. If you could press that button, we'll take a home run here. Absolutely. You do it every time. But as it goes right now, there's just something off about this lineup right now, which doesn't make sense because the pieces that we added should have been perfect complementary pieces. And maybe they will be. Maybe they will find that solution eventually. But I don't know how that conversation goes. Hey, Louie, we're moving you down to the 7-hole. You either like it or don't. I did see a clip from Dave Roberts talking about Mookie Betts, who was scuffling way worse than Luis Arise, way worse than really anybody on the San Diego Padres this season. And he told Mookie, you're our 2-hole hitter, so you need to find a way. You are our 2-hole hitter in perpetuity, so you need to figure out a way. Started working with J.D. Martinez. He got the ovation. Hey, look, the rest is history. Mookie's ripping the cover off the ball now. Torched us the other day. And I don't know. Mookie Betts and Luis Arise are not the same kind of player. They're just not. And so I don't know the answer, guys. I don't know the answer, Matt. I appreciate the call. That's certainly an option of resting Crony a little bit more, but I just don't know that there's a clear-cut black and white answer right now. Other than move Luis Ariz down and get Ryan O'Hearn in the lineup. I think that's I don't think that's a crazy bat-ass assessment from our fan base. I really don't. I think that's a fair assessment.
Do your thoughts change at all while Jackson Merrill is banged up?
Very much so, and I know that
because he's probably the first guy people would think of to move into the 2-hole, right?
Jackson,
yeah,
100%, or O'Hearn potentially,
yeah.
But I did see O'Hearn has played left field all of 12 times. Okay, that's 12 more times than I thought. So I don't have a problem with it there. You could put O'Hearn at first. You could put Ariz at second.
I'd be fine with Sheets in left field a little bit more
which
I never thought I would say at one point earlier in the season.
Loriano in center.
Yeah.
Look, again, I think it's all deadly. If used in the right manner. Let's get. We got time for one more. This hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be.
No, let's see here. Let's go to Scott's been waiting. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, you guys hear me?
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Yeah, we got you.
Good. Hey, so I'm going to start off a little negative, but I'm going to end up on a positive. So
I like it.
Didn't like that they took Wandy out in the Dodgers series. I thought it wasn't broke, so why try to fix it? I thought bringing Vasquez in, even though he didn't pitch bad, I thought you should have let Wandy cook there. But
Wandy, but he's such an open. That role that day was the role of an opener. Really, I really do. I think that he did his job. That's all that we need from him. I'd like to see them do it a little bit more. Honestly, I think that would be a fantastic move. So I'm not super mad about that one. I kind of get what they were trying to do: get through those lefties and then let Vasquez come in and cook. But
yeah, and I will just end on this real quick. For all those convulsing over the Dodgers owning us this season, just remember, in 2022, Dodgers owned us all regular season. We beat them in the playoffs. Last year, we owned the Dodgers, and they beat us in the playoffs. So for everyone convulsing, just take a deep breath and prayers out for Ben and his family. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you very much. See, that wasn't terrible, Paulie. We should do that for the next 2 hours. No, we're not going to do that. We do have some semi-entertaining discussions at my expense, certainly coming up next. I got a letter yesterday. I've been doing so good, man, keeping my nose clean and out of trouble, no longer in trouble with the law. And here I get this letter, and now I'm a little bit panicked. Maybe the tier ones have some advice.
The man is coming after you.
Yeah, they're going to try to muzzle your boy. They're going to try to put your boy in cuffs, and I really have no idea what.
Are you even allowed back in the state of California?
It's a good question at this point. I actually am a little bit nervous. Had my wife open it yesterday, read it to me, had her scan it over and send it to you guys. And so I don't know what it means, but I'm going to lean on the tier ones for some advice next. Again, back in trouble with the law, just like the old days. Certainly, this is terrible news coming up. Again, if you missed it, Ben did have to leave the show at 7. It's going to be me and Paulie the rest of the way through. We got Jesse Agler, who is always the voice of reason at 8:35. It's so funny to me too, Paulie, because if Ben comes on and tries to be the voice of reason, he gets crushed. He polishes the turn. Right, there it is. Jesse, and I know Jesse works for the team. It doesn't matter. Jesse has never been afraid to say what he feels, ever. And Jesse comes on and he talks to the audience, and the audience goes, okay, you're right. He has that ability to calm everybody down. And guess what I'm going to ask? He calms me down too. Guess what I'm going to ask of him? I'm going to ask him to calm everybody down today. Jesse Agler will join us at 8:35. Beyond that, we got a Reindl Report and pretty much no idea what we're going to do until then. But we can certainly have some fun here on the program because I think everybody does need to lighten up a little bit. Live in San Diego. We're very, very happy. Things are good. We want our ball club to just win a game. Let's get some good vibes going again. But we will be right back after this quick break. And it's been in, it's actually not. It's Woodsy and Paul today hanging out till 10 o'clock. So thanks so much for being with us. Well, it's been quite a week here on Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. I came to Texas to see my dad, who had pretty major surgery, and my mom is in cancer remission. And, after a lot of travel, a lot of remote broadcasting across the world, decided to come out, visit my family, and expected a nice kind of quiet week. I think I got that travel flu on the plane. Feeling a little bit better today, better certainly than yesterday. Ben's child, Jack, got sick and has been in the hospital. They let him out. Now I have not heard yet. I don't want to speak for them, but Ben had to leave the show at 7 and go tend to him. There could be maybe another hospital visit in the future. So we are just trying to figure it out as we go. It has been quite a week. The Padres have been terrible in that time. And I do think, Paulie, that a lot of us, our moods are certainly affected by this baseball team, probably more than they should be. I saw a guy tweet last night. He said, Woodsy, I got 2 years sober, and I'm literally considering drinking. And I just wrote, dude, there is nothing on the planet as far as a baseball team and its results that should make you want to pick up a bottle. And if that's the case, you need to turn the game off. You need to protect your peace. You need to protect your energy all that you can. It bummed me out. And I really hope that guy didn't go to grab a Coors Light or anything last night because of a friggin' baseball team. So try to keep it in perspective. That's what I'm trying to do here with my dad, Ben with his son. I don't know how much baseball matters at certain points in our lives. We certainly love it, but our mood does get affected. Like if they had won last night in comeback fashion, that would have been pretty cool to talk about today. But you got to protect your peace, Paul. You're pretty good at it. I'm getting better the older I get at it, but
I try to be, nervous. And I guess I can understand if somebody's like, oh, you just don't care that much. It's not the case. Right. I can't.
It's not.
Like, I just can't let it affect me. You know what I mean? Like, if the Padres play at 1:00 and they lose, regardless of whether it was a good game, bad game, whatever, if they lose, that can't ruin my night. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be a jerk to my wife and just shut down from the world or anything like that. Like, it's a baseball game that I had literally no impact on whatsoever. Of course, I want them to win. I want them to win every single night, but win or lose, it can't. I try not to let it affect my mood. It's just, damn, that sucked. Oh, well, what's next,
Yeah, it does, man. And you think about Scotty Scheffler's interview a few weeks ago, which we talked about on the program, and how he's like, yeah, man, it's fun to win, but 15 minutes later, it's where are we going for dinner, the moment is so fleeting. And so, yeah, I have my moments where it really affects me. And I try to remember now, the older I get, I got little kids around, when they're playing terribly, I will end up like shuffling my kids off to bed earlier. I'm like, all right, let's go. Come on. There's no leeway. You know what I'm saying? And it's not mean or anything like that, but I'm just like, let's go. Come on. It's time. I need to get back to this thing. And that's about the extent of it for me this year. I haven't been where I have before, biting their literal heads off, because of a tweet I got or the team doing poorly. At the end of the day, it's just a baseball game. We do love them dearly. We are very passionate. We tailor our lives around them, but I do try to keep in the back of my mind, I had no control over this. None. I had no control over the lineup. I had no control over the performance. I just really want them to win because it's a lot more fun when they win, and it's great for the city when they win. And I like these guys. These guys are all guys that I like and root for. So, yeah, man.
I got a buddy that if the Padres are down 3-0 in the second inning tonight, he'll text the group and just be like, turning it off, gonna go watch something else. And I don't judge him for that. I'm like, look, if that's what you got to do to protect your peace, go for it.
Yeah, and I don't look at that as he's not a real fan or anything like that either. I look, man, we are human beings. Protect your mentals. Take care of your mentals. And if this team is ruining your mentals, then don't do it. Don't do it. And especially, don't go drink when you got 2 years. You got 2 chips in the book, man. That probably was very difficult for you to do. don't let a baseball team push you over the edge. And kind of speaking of over the edge, we talked about what a weird week it's been. My wife calls me yesterday and she goes, "Hey, you got a letter?" And I go, "For what? From who?" She said, "It looks very official. It's from the DMV, and it looks like a warning letter." And she goes, "I was able to read through." I go, "Just open it." I go, "Open the letter and read it to me." So she did. And I went, "Oh, no." Like, I'm legit panicked. I scanned it. I sent it over to you, Paulie.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and read how this thing goes for your old pal Woodsy.
So
don't post it because it's got my address on it.
I know. I did crop it, but we don't even need to post it at all here. So this is a letter from the DMV, which I wasn't totally sure if they even did that. And then it says at the top, warning letter. It says, "Dear California driver, drivers with crashes and traffic convictions on their records are at a greater risk of causing future crashes." And you know what? I'm going to stop right there really quick. I read this several times last night when you sent it to me, and it took me like 1 or 2 times through to go, that was an interesting tone from the DMV. So
yes,
listen to my words. Listen to the tone from the official warning issued by the DMV to our old pal Woodsy here. It says, "Your record of bad driving, see below, places you at increased risk of causing crashes, injury, and death. We do not want you to suffer those consequences, and we want to help you avoid them. We understand that you may believe you're a good driver, and yet your driving record is much worse than the average California driver. While you may be a good and safe driver most of the time, your record reflects at least momentary lapses in driving judgment. At highway speeds, a moment of carelessness can become a tragedy. Good, caring people who make careless decisions while driving can cause injury or death. In our effort to urge you to drive safer, we are offering you a choice. You can choose to prevent further action from DMV by avoiding additional traffic convictions and by not causing any crashes." Got that?
I do.
It says, "However, if you choose to continue your unsafe driving, the penalties will increase and eventually lead to probation, suspension, or taking away of your driving privileges."
All right,
we
pause.
believe.
So everyone in the chat, well, not everyone, it's half and half. Everyone's saying, "Woodsy, this is a scam," but it's not asking me for any money. So keep reading.
Okay. Says here, "We believe you are capable of making a change to become a safer driver, but it is up to you to do so. If you do not want to change, your driving will continue to present a risk to yourself and other road users. If you want to change and become a safer, more responsible driver, you can. We hope that you will decide to change, but the choice is yours. If there is a discrepancy in your driving record, you may contact the Sacramento DMV, blah, 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 blah." Now,
it sounds like a 6-year-old wrote it.
It absolutely does. Now, here's the thing is they did add a couple of like traffic violations here.
Yes.
Do those sound accurate? One in February and one in June? Okay.
Yes.
So a scam wouldn't be able to have that information, would they?
Well, it's funny you say that.
Unless
because
they hacked the DMV?
the last time I got scammed by quote unquote Travelocity, dude had all my flight information, probably because I gave him my
you gave it to
my
him.
number. But okay, so here's the thing. I don't get in car crashes. I bumped into a guy going 1 mile an hour. Right? And and there was no damage to his car. I bent my license plate. I do not get in car crashes. Have I gotten some speeding tickets before? I have. And I pay them and I move on with my life. Is this because I'm getting like too many points? Is there more? That's the thing is they're not asking me to do anything. They're not asking me for my debit card. They're not saying, "Hey, if you join this program for $59.95, we'll be able to wipe it clean."
Yeah, if it's a scam, it's the most official looking scam I think I've ever seen.
Well, it's also the worst scam of all time because they're not asking me for anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's the biggest giveaway here. But I mean, if it is a scam, you should be very concerned because they have like all of your information, including your driving record. But yeah, it's not like I get these scam text messages all the time. It's like, hi, how have you been? Haven't heard from you in a long time. And it's like, it's not an iPhone. So that's my automatic, like it's either an Android or it's a scam. It's coming from a computer. But like, they're trying to get you to, they're asking you something. They're asking you for something. Like,
yeah, go get me some iTunes gift cards. I need you to read me the numbers on the back.
There's nothing in this letter that's asking for literally anything. It just said, if there's a discrepancy here, then you can call and get it taken away. Like if there was another traffic conviction, you're like, that's not me. I wasn't there. I never did that or whatever. It just says they just want you to be a better person and a better driver and to stop.
They literally they say, we believe that you can change, or we believe you think you can change, but we're not so sure.
The
so what was the
snarky-ass tone from that second paragraph? We understand that you may believe you're a good driver,
Correct.
Yet your driving record is much worse than the average California driver for a speeding ticket and bumping into a guy at 0.5 mile per hour.
C20 Moreno says it's a DMV pep talk. That's exactly what it is. I got a pep talk for the DMV. Kurt says it's a form of intimidation to create worry and scam for you to call. Because I will tell you, they did say something about if you want to write a letter to Sacramento and dispute any of this, then you can't. Like, yeah, dude, I got pulled over for going 85 and a 70. Okay, like, you got me on the way to work one morning, no problem. Paulie and I were driving out to spring training. Probably were a little bit fired up, heading out of town. You got me there. But I don't neglect paying my tickets or anything like that. I feel like I'm an aggressive driver, but I feel like I'm a good driver. But apparently I'm not. And so list the consequences that they said, Paulie, if I don't clean it up.
If you do not, if you don't want to change, your driving record will continue to present a risk to yourself and other users. Your penalties will increase and eventually lead to probation, suspension, or revocation.
Revocation.
It's a big word. Revocation of your driving privileges, meaning taking your license, you're done.
How great will it be when Ben has to pick me up from work and drive me home every day?
That'd be hilarious. You guys can just carpool and do some show prep on the way.
So it is real. It is real, everyone's saying. Now, what would you recommend I do here?
I mean, I Googled the phone number that they said to call. It is the Sacramento DMV office.
Okay. All right. So I should call them?
No, it says only if you are like, no, I did not do one of those violations. But I think we've determined that the two that are listed, it has 2 convictions here. And the dates. It doesn't, I don't know what the section codes mean. So it doesn't say what's for what. But I mean, the one was literally on the date in the neighborhood where we were driving out to spring training, where we both remember you got pulled over for a speeding ticket.
Yes.
Paid and moved on. And then the other one, I think, was the bumping the guy at the stoplight.
Oh boy.
But yeah, this is interesting, man. I don't know I think you're screwed. I don't know that you can come back to California.
I mean, no, listen, this has scared me straight. I will be a much safer, slower driver. I do drive, when I get driving into work in the morning, there's not a soul on the 5, right? Not a soul. How nice is that? It never, ever happens. And so, yeah, I may push it to 85, 90 on the roll. I have done traffic school before, a couple of years ago. I had such a nice run, man, of like 5 years with no tickets. And then they come in bunches. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it. I want to make sure I'm in compliance. I want to be a good example and all that. So I will definitely call and see if there's anything I can do to remedy. Can you get points taken off your license for like doing good community service or something?
I don't know anything about that. I have no idea.
How many points do you have on your license?
0.
Oh, man. All right. Now
I'm just a better person than you, though.
Apparently the best advice I've gotten out of this is just be better.
Now, Tier 1 David, who is our unofficial attorney here for the Ben and Woods show, he just texted me and he said, send it over. I can take a look. Would you like me to do that for you?
I would, please. Very much. Very much.
We'll determine.
Okay. So Mike says if there's a number on the letter, that's where the scam starts. All All right, I'm gonna follow through today. I'm gonna call the number and see what happens and see how much they'll take me for.
Call from like
today.
Gary's phone or something.
I thought it was interesting, man. I did think it was interesting that I've never seen a letter like that before. I'm a little bit nervous about it. I don't really know what to do, but I will call. I will call that number and try to figure out a way to be in.
You don't have to call. They're not threatening you with any. I mean, I guess they kind of are if you continue, but like as of right now, it's not like your license won't get suspended if you don't call. Your license may get suspended if you get another speeding ticket or almost kill somebody at 0.5 mile per hour at a stoplight.
Yeah, Paulie just Googled the number, said it's legit. All right, so I'm gonna call them today. We will get it figured out. But yeah, a little bit nervous about that. Very, very nervous about it. I don't want to get arrested again. I never want to be put in handcuffs again, ever. That is my main goal in life. Never handcuff me again. Never want to spend a second in jail again. Never, ever, ever. It's like my number one thing. I'd never want it to happen again. I will do my very best. If you're listening at the DMV, maybe they were mad at me that I called them out for the pee on the floor at the DMV that I went to, and now I'm on their list.
That might be.
There was urine on the floor, Paulie. There was urine on the floor at the DMV, and I did say it on the radio, and maybe they got upset. So we will get to the bottom of that today or at some point. But holy smokes, yeah, kind of dome me out a little bit in a week full of being domed out at every turn, every single turn.
No kidding, man. I'm ready. Obviously the perspective with your dad and Ben's child, it just takes over everything. But God, thinking about when you were just listing off all the travel that you alone have done, and there's been like you'll be back here for like 3 shows in between these trips. I'm like, man, it's been a weird 4 or 5 weeks now. Like I'm ready for some normalcy here.
Me and you both, and some Padres wins. We will talk more about the San Diego Padres. We got Jesse Agler coming up at 8:35. Don't go anywhere, though. I wouldn't blame you if you did. Does that make sense?
Yes,
right?
But stay here.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you if you did, but stay here. Before I let you go, let me tell you about Trust and Will. Ben obviously had to split today, but it's just so important that you have a trust or will, and trustandwill.com makes it so easy to do. I love more than anything being able to do something that traditionally was kind of a beating. I like a convenient way to do things, and that's what Trust and Will provides. I knew forever that I needed to get a trust or a will because I have a family, and I put it off because I didn't want to go sit in an attorney's office and go through everything. They make it so simple to do, and they make it affordable to do. Go to trustandwill.com, start the process today. Take you 30 minutes, man. You can do it at your lunch hour and still have time to go get lunch. Really, it's that simple. Trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out, FAN. They'll give you 20% off, and they will ship you your estate documents for free. You get those documents, you take them to a notary, and then you throw it in the desk drawer, and you let your spouse know this is where it is should anything happen to me. They make it easy, they make it convenient, and they make it affordable. Go to trustandwill.com today. Use FAN when you check out. Do it today, trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Well, as usual, the tier ones come through, and it's not a scam. It's definitely from the DMV. It's a warning letter, and I need to slow it down. Essentially, I've gotten 2 points within 6 months, a year, whatever, and I think it's just a warning letter. Like, hey, buddy, do better, be better, and be a better driver. And I will. I do promise you. You have scared me straight, DMV. I will do that. We got Jesse Agler coming up in a few minutes. We will talk to Jesse about what he's seen from the team the last 4 days. Certainly, guys, it's not rocket science. The starting pitching has not been up to par, and the offense has not been up to par either. And that is not a good combo. And again, we've got this super pen that we can't deploy unless we have a lead. And so, it's up to the starters, Paulie, to keep the game close, and it's up to the offense to get the job done. And I think the frustrating part is you look at the lineup and you go, my God, like this is what we always dreamed of, right? And we said that before. We said it in 23. I hate to keep bringing that up because it's different players. It's a different season, different manager. It doesn't really hold any weight, but for the fans, it does. And the fan perspective is certainly different than the player's perspective, certainly different than the manager's perspective. Of course, you're going to look at this and go, yep, we've seen this before. Here we go again. And I totally understand and sympathize with the fan base that feel that. It's weird for me, man, because I was here visiting my family. I was not broadcasting, though. I think I would call in every day when the Padres absolutely went off the cliff in the once-in-a-lifetime collapse. I was here. I think I brought Bo with me. We came out here for like a week. And I remember calling in every day going, oh, my God, guys, this is happening again. So fan perspective is something I feel it along with you. And I cannot sit here and deny, that I don't feel the same, when you watch them drop 4 straight.
It's frustrating because you went out at the deadline and tried to fix all of these problems and seemingly had, right? I mean, 14 out of 17 or whatever that streak that they just went on before heading up to LA So you were like feeling pretty good. All right, we've solved all those issues. Now the Padres over the last 4 games at least have looked like the Padres of the first half, where there's no slug. It takes every bit of baseball in you just to scratch across a run or two. And so it's a familiar feeling, but we don't like this feeling because, well, that's why we went out and got guys like Laureano, Fermin, and O'Hearn.
But you also, you got the one big swing last night from a guy that started the game on the bench that was also in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So it just is.
And the pitching has been like abysmal. The starting pitching,
abysmal.
To give up whatever Ben said, it was like 4, 4, and 3 or 4, 3, and
5,
4
yeah.
in the first inning alone. I mean, you are just spotting teams like the Dodgers, especially just saying, here guys, here's 4 runs to start the game. You just can't do that. And that's something that the starting pitching up until this point has not done. So I'm very hopeful that Nick Pivetta can bounce back and have a really solid start tonight.
Yeah, we really need Nicky P to kind of be the stopper today. Let's get this thing over with. We roughed up the kid that's going against us today. We got to do that again. So hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Jesse Agler, again, always a better voice of reason than me. Paulie, Benny tries to be. It doesn't care. I'm sorry. This is not a shot at Ben. It doesn't carry the same weight when Ben tries to be the voice of reason as Jesse Agler. I don't ever look at Jesse as a turd polisher. Never. I would
never play that soundbite for Jesse.
Never.
It just hits differently.
It hits differently when Jesse does it. It's not a knock on anybody. It's just what Jesse does best. We will talk to him next. We'll be right back. Quick break. Wanted to tell you quickly about Loan Pronto. If you're feeling a little bit underwater right now, which I do, but not in debt. So if you're struggling right now, you're trapped in a high rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month. At Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. You heard that right. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is streamlined. It's a low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. Here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low will not last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no obligation quote. Loan Pronto is incredible. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. That can be found by calling 619-207-4336 or going to loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate. Skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Ben is out, so we got Jesse Agler, just me and Paulie. We can all get cuddled up and try to figure out what's going on with our San Diego Padres. Let's welcome to the line our pal and
right
yours, the voice
traffic,
of the San Diego.
Course,
I was going to get there.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure.
I was going to get there. Welcome to the airwaves. There it is.
Center, protecting
well
San
done.
Diego after accidents or
Killing
injury.
it.
Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Couple problems in the North County. Southbound 5, right around Carmel Valley Road. Collision involving a couple vehicles. It's over to the right shoulder. And got this accident on eastbound 78 right before the 15. That's been cleared over to the right shoulder. Before you hit the beach, the mountains, or even the 5 this Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And now joining us is our pal and yours, Jesse Agler. Good morning, Jesse. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just the, things are a little bit off kilter this week. Certainly, I'm in Texas visiting my dad and my mom, and Ben had to leave. He's got a sick child, so he had to split. Padres are not playing well. Just a normal slice of life here for the Ben and Woods program.
Life, like baseball, as always, shoots and ladders. There's ups and downs.
Yep.
Never as smooth as you want it to be. But look, if you've got a good family, it's going to be all right. If you got a good team, it's going to be all right. And the Padres, as I must remind you, I guess, they're a very good team. Very, very good team.
I feel like I said this earlier, if Ben says that or I say that, we get accused of being Charmin soft or, turd polishers. And I just look at
by who? Like let's break this down a little bit. Like
all right, break it down.
Accused by who? Because I think sometimes we have a tendency in society today to sort of misunderstand sample sizes.
And I have no doubt there is a portion of this fan base that's kind of in panic mode. I have no doubt there's a portion of this fan base who thinks the sky is falling because they've lost 4 consecutive games. But I would argue it is not a very big slice of the pie. I would also argue it's sort of your most reactive group. And if they, you know, are that way, that's their right. That's their absolute right. But I wouldn't argue that it is representative of like the group as a whole here, because I think if you know anything about the guys on this team, they're certainly not of that mindset. And I think if you come to Petco Park on any given night, jammed in with 44, 45,000 other people, most of them do not feel that way. So I think it's important for all of us to remember that just because some people are freaking out doesn't mean most people are freaking out, and that it's okay to not freak out along with them.
Sorry, I didn't turn my mic on. I do agree with you. It's kind of the everyday working through it, and it was such a clunker in LA. And again, we always talk about what we think we know in this game, and we were set up so perfectly, right? When we got to LA, we're like, man, this is great. Like, we dominated. The Giants didn't have to use the big guns. It is funny though. I was kind of sarcastic. I was tweeting with a buddy last night, and I said, he said the super pen doesn't really work unless you get a lead. And I said, well, it's kind of a good point. I mean, everybody's pretty much a high leverage arm, maybe save 1 or 2 guys out there. The strategy for the San Diego Padres is, I think, you know, conservative when behind, which is smart, and aggressive when ahead. Problem is, you got to get ahead. And I feel like once we do get a lead, I feel pretty confident about that. But, you know, the starting pitching's got to do, I think, in my opinion, a better job at not setting the guys up on offense to have to play from behind every night. That's been kind of a problem.
I think that's a little oversimplified. I don't think it's as black and white as that, because I think they have been aggressive when behind at times. We have seen, you know, Mason Miller when they're down a run, or Jeremiah Estrada in the 4th or 5th inning when they're trailing by a run. It's falling behind the way they have the last 3 days that is problematic. So yes, you got to get more out of your starters. That's why you feel great about Pivetta being on the mound today. But I wouldn't say they're conservative when behind. I'd say they're, you know, reasonable when behind 4 runs after a half inning or after an inning.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, you can't go to the bullpen every night in the 2nd inning. So yeah, the last 3 days, those are the kinds of games where you're going to have trouble. If your starting pitcher can't get you out of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd inning without a 3, 4, 5 run deficit, you're gonna have a hard day ahead. There's no doubt. But with the super pen, they are able to chase wins now even more aggressively than they did earlier this year when they were doing it at times. So look, again, it's just, you can't let it get away the way it's gotten away the last 3 days. I think that's kind of the key. So, you know, we've said it a bunch this year. You're not asking too much out of the starting pitchers, but you got to get more than you've gotten certainly the last 3 days.
Yeah, no question. Talking to Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. And I read a piece by Dennis Lynn. I think AJ Cassavell talked about it a little bit as well. What do you see? You're around the team all the time. What do you see when it comes to the psychology against playing against the LA Dodgers? Because it looked weird, right? It looked different than what we'd gotten used to with this team. You know, I've been calling it FU baseball, and they had really been playing that brand of baseball. And then you get to LA and things change. Obviously, they're a great team. We know that they're predicted to win 120 games. That's not going to happen. But what do you see regarding the psychology of the Padres against the Dodgers?
It's funny, you know, you said their sort of brand of style of play, how you put it. I don't think you can play that way every single day. And they had been playing that way for a couple of weeks, but I think it's just not something that's sustainable every single night. You know, I mean, you just can't have that edge and that intensity every single game. And yes, you would love to be able to save it for quote unquote those series or those nights or whatever, but I don't know that it's as easy as flipping a switch on and off. It's sort of like you have it when you have it, and then eventually it runs out and you have to refill the tank. That's kind of the way I think I look at that. The Dodgers series was weird being there. I hope this doesn't come off as defeatist in any way, but like, I'm in that building and it did not feel to me as big as maybe we were all trying to make it. And I say that based on the way both teams played. I say that based upon the atmosphere at Dodger Stadium. Now, look, it was filled and loud and all of that, but it wasn't one of those regular season series that we get sometimes that felt like a playoff series. It just wasn't. It was, you know, and I think that was a sort of situation on the calendar. And it was mid-August, and I know the Padres had hopped up by a game and that the Dodgers had just had their hands full with the Angels and that the Padres had done great work against the Giants. But, like, as soon as the first game started, there was sort of the usual Kershaw buzz that still exists when he pitches at Dodger Stadium. But the whole thing just kind of felt extremely ordinary, and that surprised me. I didn't necessarily expect that to be the case, and that continued throughout the entire weekend there. Now, I don't think that'll be the case this weekend because I think Petco is going to be, like, foaming at the mouth. But, you know, and I kind of respected it in a way from both teams because it was like, you know, the sort of recognition of, all right, we are where we are, but there's still 6 weeks left. You know, we can't empty the tank here this weekend and set ourselves back. And I don't think either team really played in a way that showed they emptied the tank. But, you know, maybe that's digging too deep into it and reading too much into things. I do think, you know, the falling behind early with the starting pitching is probably as good a formula as any in baseball in any game to sort of take the air out of the balloon. And so maybe it was just that. But yeah, it felt extremely ordinary over the weekend in Los Angeles. And I think coming out of it, I'm okay with that. I think I kind of understand how that could have been the case, even though as the narrative builders that we all are, you know, we were understandably and obviously kind of building it up the way we did.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I actually, you know, we talked about it off the air of like, man, let's not make this thing any bigger than it needs to be. But it has that weight, that gravitas, and it will have that this weekend because depending on what happens the next few days, you know, you're sitting 2 games out, and you know you need to match them every single day. They need to match you. Credit to the Rockies for going out and winning a game against them last night. It made my morning when I woke up and saw that. And I went, okay, I mean, sure, you didn't pick up a game, but you didn't lose any ground as well. I don't know if that sounds defeatist either, but I do feel like that's the smart way to play it.
I mean, that's the situation that they're in right now. And, you know, you're going to be scoreboard watching. As long as this thing stays, you know, within a game, 2 or 3 up or down, you're going to be scoreboard watching every single night. And, yeah, of course, like when that game went final, I think we were probably in the 7th inning thereabouts. And it was kind of like, all right, you know, like now there's kind of an opportunity here. And then when the Padres ended up not being able to complete the comeback, it was like, all right, you know, well, at least we sort of are where we were at the start of the day. But look, that's the fun of this time of year. And, you know, I think 6 weeks of that is probably, or 5 weeks now is going to be pretty exhausting. But hey, that's the situation we're in. It's fun. This is better than the alternative. And look, it's the most cliche thing in the world, but it's one of those, hey, if I told you back on March 19th that the Padres would be 2 games back on August 19th, you know, we all would have signed up for that 100 times out of 100. And that's where we are. And now we buckle up and ride this thing out the rest of the way.
You know, that's directly from Jesse, the Ben Higgins playbook, and he just gets crushed when he says it. And when you say it, I go, yeah, idiots. Of course we would have signed up for it. It's just different. I think it's the manner in which you deliver it, which makes me feel better.
Well, whatever I can do to help you and the tier ones feel a little bit better this morning.
I think, you know, your message to the tier ones today regarding this baseball team is what?
Have fun. Enjoy this. You know, I'm sure a lot of fans, and I say this with full sincerity, I'm sure a lot of fans are relatively new to following this team day in and day out. Because for a lot of years, you know, it wasn't worth following this team day in and day out. And, you know, maybe, you know, the folks who came on board in 2020 or 2021, maybe they don't remember what it was like in 2016 or 2014. You know, and many, many, many of the other previous 50 so years that this franchise has existed. But there were an awful lot of Augusts in the history of the San Diego Padres where this didn't matter at all. There wasn't a damn thing to care about at this point in the season. And so to kind of regularly be in a position that we are now, where these games are so big and that we do kind of spiral out over a 1-run loss to the Giants on a Monday night, you know, shows us that this thing has come an awful long way from where it was most of the history of the franchise. So embrace that, enjoy it. Is it going to drive you crazy at times? Absolutely. Is it going to make you want to bang your head against the wall sometimes? Absolutely. I would argue to you, though, that is far, far, far better an option than being completely bored or tuned out by the thing. So just, you know, try and appreciate it, try and enjoy it. The good times don't last forever. You know, we are in the longest, biggest, most serious competitive window this franchise has ever had. So just, you know, strap in and enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride is what used to be my motto, and I'm finding it. I'm trying to very hard. Obviously, perspective on real life swoops in every now and then and kind of kicks you in the gut. And you know, it doesn't mean I don't care. I love them. I want them to win every game because I really like this team. I like these players. But you know, you talk about like last night. yesterday, obviously, the big topic of discussion is the lineup. And when things go south, that's something that you point to. Your thoughts on the Padres lineup as it stands today? I know it's going to be a little bit different with Jackson out. You can move some guys around, but kind of where do you stand on it?
I mean, it's going to be different left versus right, and there's no doubt that the Merrill thing changed things up. It's one of these things that, is definitely worth talking about. But if we've been paying attention all year, as we have, we know that there are times that changes are made. But that also Mike is not going to rush to make those changes. And I know it feels like the clock is ticking and time is running out. There's still, 38, whatever it is, games left in this season. That's plenty of time to make another tweak, to make another adjustment. And, you sort of have like version 1 of the lineup and then version 2 of the lineup and version 3. And maybe now this is version 5 in 2025. And that, there's nothing to me that indicates there can't be a version 6 or even a version 7 between now and the end of the year. I mean, you saw, again, with Merrill out, some different things yesterday. You had Laureano cleaning up. You had, for me, not batting ninth for the first time in his 12 starts. So, there is probably more open-mindedness than it might feel like. It's just, it's not going to be a situation where they rush to change it, because that's just not how they operate. And I appreciate that. I think it's very easy as fans and broadcasters to be like, why on earth isn't such and such in the lineup tonight? But like, there's usually a bigger, larger picture in play there. And, the trades that were made certainly changed a lot of things up. And the O'Hearn Sheets, sort of situation is what it is. But Mike Schilt, as always, is going to be very intentional about trying to figure out on that given day what works. But again, we have seen time and again this year, there is, plenty of open-mindedness to come and make adjustments. It's just not going to be rushed into. That's just not the way they operate. And I think that's pretty clear by this point.
Well, we have a great incorporator word for you to weave into tonight's broadcast, and I think it's very fitting. Paulie, if you would.
Immolate.
Which is
I
what
used
our
that
fan
the other
base
day
is...
on the air.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
USOB.
my goodness.
Well, I can use it again. It was something I'm trying to remember whose bullpen we were talking about. It might have been the Dodger. Yeah, it was the Dodger bullpen after all their struggles against the Angels and before that. And I said something along the lines of, while the Dodger bullpen has been self-immolating as of late, they've pitched well here this weekend. It was something like that.
I may have actually heard it, which I don't know. It just popped into my head because our fan base is immolating as
How
we
do you
speak.
stump the incorporator when he just regularly uses the word that you give him? I know.
And that's why he's the GOAT. Well, listen, I'm going to have to hear it again tonight, Jesse. We always appreciate your time. We appreciate your candor. And, of course, we appreciate your level-headedness, my friend. Have a good broadcast tonight. Congratulations. Part of the best broadcasting team, according to Awful Announcing. I wanted to give you your flowers for that as well. So congratulations.
That's Don and Mudd, of course. But, yeah, Tony and I
you're mentioned in there.
We don't mess it up when we go over, which is kind of the assignment. But those guys are the best, obviously, and it's great to see them, kind of getting that kind of recognition. But thanks, man.
And you as well. You're allowed to take a bow for that as well. Jesse Agler, everybody, thank you so much, buddy. Have a good one.
You got it, man.
Jesse.
Love that, man. I do love Jesse.
Best.
It does always makes me feel better when he comes on. But the only thing, as we've now realized, that is going to make anybody feel better is a little dub tonight. That's going to make everybody's mood improve vastly, as it always does, because there is a lot of brand newness to this, right? Being in this thing this late, a division in reach. You're looking right there. It's right in the palm of your hand. Can you take it? That's going to be the most interesting storyline moving forward. So hopefully they can flip the switch, get it going tonight. We will be back. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. All right, welcome back to Woodsy and Paul. We are Ben and Woods, but Ben is out. Just got a text from him. Looks like things have stabilized a little bit. He did have to leave the show at 7. So we were all caught a little bit off guard and unaware, but we are going to plow through for the next hour and get you on your way, get you ready for Padres baseball tonight. I say it all the time. I stand by it. Even after a demoralizing, awful loss, at least you have the chance to tee it up again today. Try to get back on the right track against the Giants. And you got Nick Pavetta on the bump. Excited to watch Nicky P pitch, albeit at midnight here when the games start. I'm out in Texas visiting my family. I did, man. I made it like 7 innings and I just crashed out. I'm not feeling well. Also, I'm under the weather. It's just it's been one of those weeks. One that hopefully we can look back on and laugh at some point. Paulie, how are you feeling? Because you were starting to get a little sick too.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. I think I was just a little bit worn down, busy weekend, and got a couple of good nights sleep in a row, and just kind of took it easy yesterday. Woke up this morning feeling much better.
Apparently, traveling like 25,000 miles in 6 weeks will take it out of you. And I feel very fortunate.
How often did you have to, like when you had to travel for work, did you drive or fly more?
I flew I would go every other week.
Okay, that's a lot of traveling. Now, not as far a distances, obviously.
No, but then when I would get there, I had a territory in the Southwest. So I would fly from Dallas to Phoenix, and then I would drive all around Arizona. I mean, hours and hours a day sometimes. And then I would catch a flight to Billings, Montana, and drive hours and hours from hospital to hospital. Yeah, but I was 25, not 50.
Invincible, yeah.
Invincible, could go out drinking every night and get up and go do a 200-mile drive and go do 4 meetings and call it a day. It's much, much harder now. And it's been a lot of miles on this ass for the last 6 weeks or so. They've all been great. Every trip has been phenomenal, but it's just been one of those weeks where, the team's not playing well. You're not feeling well. You're on remote. Ben's got personal stuff going on. You're not feeling good. It's like, holy cow, let's, we're going to have to earn it this week for sure. Yeah, and speaking of fun, we wanted to do something a little fun. We were going to do it when Ben was there. We need you guys to call right now if you want to go see the game tomorrow. We got tickets for you, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, we got tickets to tomorrow's game. You can call right now, 833-288-0973. But this is not just like fifth caller. You're going to have to earn it. So we're going to load up the phone lines, and we'll get you a pair of tickets to tomorrow's game against the Giants. First 40,000 in attendance going to get a Michael King bobblehead. We gave those away last week, just the bobblehead, not the tickets. Now you get the tickets. You got to get in line for the bobblehead, though. You can get your tickets at padres.com/tickets. So I see some calls rolling in. Now we're playing a brand new game, Woodsy. We have never played this game before. So why don't you walk us through it? I'm going to we got 6 callers already calling in right now. So I'm going to try to get everybody lined up.
Pretty simple. It's Ben's big, beautiful box, and we have it in the studio. And what we do is we fill it with something. And all you have to do is listen and guess what it is. And we're just going to go caller by caller. And you need to be specific on what it is. It's something that Ben has put in his big, beautiful box, and all you have to do, Paulie, will just rip through the phones one by one. And if you guess it right, you win the tickets. It's that simple. Could be the first caller, could be the 10th caller. I have no idea who's going to win this thing.
Okay.
But so, Paulie,
do they get any clues or anything? Like, how we want to do this?
I'll put it this way. He did not bring it he brought the box from home, but what's inside it was
this is our engineer's Amazon Prime box. So if this is a good game, if the people like this one and we like this one, we can make an actual like Ben box and that we can use in the future. But this one, so he did not bring this from home. It was something from the building.
Yes, something from the building. So give it a shake and everyone listen. Everyone on hold, listen. Again. What's in Ben's big, beautiful box?
All right, we're going to go caller number 1. Is this Charles?
Yes. Is it paper clips?
Oh, my God. He got it on the very first one.
Paper clips.
It
took Woods like 4 guesses.
No way.
It took me 4 guesses. Yes, it did, dude. Yes, it did. And you've knocked it out of the park. Charles, I got to be honest with you. I was hoping this was going to kill about 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie.
You were supposed to take 5
very
6
lucky.
guesses. Holy
You are very
crap.
lucky. You are very good. Congratulations. Great game, by the way. Lasted all of 3 seconds.
Really fantastic.
Really fun and tough and challenging game. He nailed it. So
I mean,
good for you,
said
dude. You're
pens,
going to the
you
game.
said push pins, you said thumbtacks,
Yes.
paper clips, and finally we were like, all right, yeah, this is gonna go great. It lasted 4 seconds.
1 second.
Oh my god.
Yep. Congratulations, buddy. Well done. Crazy fun new game, guys. It's phenomenal.
Really great.
We're doing great.
You know what? Let's just take it to the house.
I'm so ready. I think my equipment's malfunctioning as cutting out. No.
Woods, can you hear me?
Now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Going well. No, you crushed it, dude. Well done. So there you go. You have won the
we can get
tickets.
some satellite radio here.
Paulie will get your information. That was phenomenal. Yeah, your Megan has a good idea. What finger am I holding up next? Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we can put in.
I better get the topic
big
wheel
box.
lubed up.
Yeah, why not? At this point, spin it, Paulie. I don't care. This is crazy. That was supposed to last longer. So wheels off.
I mean, we told you guys 2 hours ago this is probably going to be the worst radio you're going to hear for a while.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the topic wheel here. I didn't expect us to open up the topic wheel this morning, but the question is, Woodsy, would you rather always have to walk backwards or talk backwards?
Walk backwards for the rest of my life. Talking backwards would make this job impossible. Impossible this make job this. I would rather walk backwards for the rest of my life. No question about it. It's the easiest answer I've ever given.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree, although both would be extremely uncomfortable and awkward.
It would be terrible. You couldn't do it. You couldn't talk backwards in everything you said.
Well, I wonder, is it like if you have to put in the effort to talk backwards, like I couldn't do that. Like, if I ever got pulled over and the officer like suspected I was drunk driving and I didn't have a sip of alcohol, but he asked me to all right, step out, walk this line. I have terrible balance. I'd probably fail that. But if he said, all right, can you do the alphabet backwards? I'd be like, brother, there's not a chance in hell I could do that. And I haven't had a drink in months. There's no chance I could do it.
My phone is blowing up. People like, great game, dude. Killer game. Yeah. That's amazing. This game, I'm crying right now. That is so hysterical that dude guessed it on the very, very first one.
I almost lied and be like, no, actually it wasn't.
Just quietly
start putting some other stuff in there.
Yes, quietly replace what's in there. I am dying right now. Yeah, that was really phenomenal stuff. Go ahead.
You want to spin it again?
No, yeah. That was amazing.
It's just been one of those days, one of those weeks.
Yep.
Kind of went down this path a little bit yesterday, or the last time we spun the wheel, but which movie or television show do you think that you quote most often? Doesn't have to be that you've seen the most, but what movie or television show would you say you quote the most? I can start if you're going through Gary's list.
I've got my list. I've got the list right in front of me.
I would say for me, it's probably Superbad.
All right.
I quote that movie like almost every day, I'd say.
I would say for me, it's probably Sopranos because I will often do, there he is. I do it all the time. It drives my family crazy. I don't know. Not a lot you can bite down here on this topic wheel today, which is about par for the course. I'm not going to open the phones again, though. That's not going to happen. We just need to figure out what we're going to do for the next 51 minutes, Paulie. That's what we need to do right now. That game was really supposed to take about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes.
We were supposed to rattle through like 4 or 5 more callers.
Yeah, nope, good guess.
Oh, dang, nope, you didn't get it. No,
this is the worst. This is the worst radio I've ever been a part of.
I'm like embarrassed. I'm ashamed right now.
It's hard to recover from at this point. We will try to figure it out. We got a Reindl Report coming up at 9:30 this morning, but I do I do think that it does warrant more discussion. I'm seeing, I'm seeing a lot of people kind of down on a lot of different players on our team right now, and I think Fernando Tatis Jr. has been.
I'm glad you brought that up. There's
Yeah.
been like 15 guys that get blame seemingly every single day, and you would think this is like the worst team of all time, because if it's not Tatis, then it's Manny, and if it's not Manny, then it's a Rise, and if it's not a Rise, then it's Schilt, and if it's not Schilt, then it's Cease, and if it's not Cease, then it's Nestor. You know what I mean? Like, we are just like throwing like this blanket of blame over the entire team right now.
Yeah, it is. It's tough right now, and when they were winning, I even saw people complaining, that it's not the best lineup, and I kind of tend to agree with them. I do think you can win baseball games in spite of the lineup. I think you can win baseball games in spite of managerial decisions. I do see players bail managers out all the time. That's kind of what they're there for. The manager can set the lineup and roll along as the game, continues and try to make the right decisions. But, good teams can overcome a bad manager, but a good manager, it's hard for them to overcome a team where guys aren't doing what they're capable of doing. And I saw our pal Darren yesterday put up an audio clip from his podcast, and he was talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. in general. And I guess I hadn't thought about it this way. And I liked the analogy he made. He essentially said, while if you look at Tatis's numbers, I think he's at a 799 OPS, 800 OPS is great. If you're at 800 or above, you're having a good season. So it's not as bad as maybe a lot of people are making it out to be. But the fact that he is a Lamborghini is how he put it. He said, you bought a Lamborghini and you're telling me that you have this Lamborghini because, man, look at the trunk space in it, or look at the way that it is fuel efficient. No, like, you have a Lamborghini, you want to be able to rip this thing at 180 miles an hour, handle every turn. It's a race car. And you're giving me these features that you would give me if you had a Toyota Camry. And I go, man, that's an interesting way to put it. And I think my only counter to that would be,
but he's like a third best player in the National League on, if you go by WAR, I guess, which is supposed to be like one of the most all-encompassing ways of analyzing a player's productivity and what they bring to your team. So, like, I don't know that it's not that he's a Camry versus a Lamborghini being the old him. He's still a Lamborghini. He's still, like, he should probably get MVP votes for how valuable he has been this season. It's just not what we're used to. We're used to the big home runs, but he's having more of a productive season, you could argue, than the years where he did hit 30 plus bombs.
I think what it boils down to for me is he's still a Lamborghini, but he's not opening it up, right? Like, he's a Lamborghini driving the speed limit essentially right now because for whatever reason, the power has just not been there. The fearsomeness that the fear that he strikes into opposing pitchers. You don't really worry about Toddy taking you deep right now because he hadn't done it. It's been, I think, the longest homerless streak of his career.
It's over 300 at bats now.
Yeah, something like that. But the only thing I will say is I've seen other players having down years at the plate, and they don't provide Lamborghini type defense, base running, et cetera, et cetera. At least he's still giving you value on a daily basis. I know it's a bit of a cope. I know it is, but I do think it could be so much worse with a player like Fernando Tatis Jr. I really do. Now, I do realize it could be a lot better. There's some unlocked stuff in him that, for whatever reason, this year, is it the constantly being thrown up and in, afraid to kind of dig in and get his A swing off? I don't know. It could have gone so much more south right now, and I think all of us, we have that hope. He will eventually turn on the juice, turn on the power. I know you can't flip the switch. He would have done it by now, but it's kind of the only thing I'm holding out hope. And yeah, I still love having him in the lineup every single day. I liked the Lamborghini analogy of, like, hey, I bought this thing. It's really, really cool and it's really flashy, but I only drive it 55 miles an hour. Or, it's very comfortable, or it's got a lot of trunk space. It could have been a lot worse.
You should never drive more than 55 miles per hour.
Well, as we know now,
as we figured out from the DMV and their stern warning that they gave you.
That's one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. We got a Reindl Report coming up. Mercifully, put a bullet in this show for the rest of the day. Turn it over to Braden. Get you ready for Padres baseball. I'm embarrassed. I'm sick to my stomach. So just know that moving forward. Be right back. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, good chance to get right tonight at Petco Park. Nicky P on the bump, facing Kai Wei Tang. That's the guy they absolutely torched this dude last time they played him. Made him throw a ton of pitches. You got to get this ship righted today out at Petco Park. Nicky P is going to be on the bump. 12-4 with a 2.87 against, again, Kai Wei Tang 1-2 with a 9.90 ERA. And, some guys in the lineup have handled him pretty well. Going to be interested to see. I know Crony came out of the game last night. Not sure what the status is with him. Jackson Merrill, is still kind of up in the air. With an ankle, I just have no idea, Paulie, if he can go or even should go at this point. I really, really don't know what the plan is for him moving forward. But Kai Wei Tang is a righty. So Mike Schilt this morning can breathe easy, in my opinion. I think he'll say, oh, no problem. Now I can get Ryan O'Hearn, who everyone's clamoring for, out there in the lineup against a righty, and maybe put this thing to bed, getting a couple of wins.
You make it sound like we're screaming for Yuli Gurriel to get more starts, with O'Hearn in particular. I guess we'll give this guy a start finally. It's bro, he was an all-star. You gave up some significant prospect capital to get him. Let's use him. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I agree. I think I see it, and I do agree with it, and it does make sense to me. And for me, I always say this about managers, and I think you make the moves that you make in order to cover your own rear end, and that's no different in their walk of life than in mine. And if it's me, Paulie, I want to go down with my best guys, not the guys that I like the most, or not the guys that have a track record for a couple of years, and of course I'm very appreciative of what Luis Arraez does bring to the table on a day in, day out basis. But I do think when you acquire Ryan O'Hearn, to have him essentially as a bench piece against lefties, I don't know, man. I can justify putting him in there the way that his ABs have been. And remember, man, I just remember Schulte putting Trenton Brooks in the lineup a bunch. Trenton Brooks hit one home run, and he said, somebody had asked him the question after the game of why does he keep getting looks? And Schulte said something to the effect of, well, I like the way he looks at the plate. I like his ABs. He looks hitterish up there. And I think there's some validity to that, but this production certainly wasn't there. I mean, who looks more hitterish and ready to pounce than Ryan O'Hearn right now? I don't know. And that's kind of, for me, is a bit of a mixed message there, in my opinion. But I just think, for me, I'm covering my ass. And if we lose with a bunch of all-stars in the lineup, guess who it's not on? It's not on me. I put a bunch of all-stars out there. They didn't get the job done. And, we tee it up again tomorrow and we try again. So
that's kind of what we were talking about earlier on the analytics, the lefty righty versus just who's the better player, who's got the better track record. Not so much just matchup specific, but I mean, who do you feel confident if they made a pitching change? Are you going to keep that guy in there? You would never take, even as bad as he is, you're never taking Manny out of the game because of which arm the guy uses on the mound to throw with.
Right.
But for whatever reason, that's still what we're going through here right now with O'Hearn, and then Bryce Johnson trying to get some playing time, and Luis Arraez seemingly getting playing time every single night.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to put my best guys out there. Let the chips fall where they may, despite maybe some bruised egos or hurt feelings. I think for our fan base, in general. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think I can say this pretty confidently. Everybody just wants to see you guys win a World Series. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And as much as we fight, as much as we infight, as much as we self-immolate, as much as we call people names, at the end of the day, we're all on the same team and want this team to win. Are you doing the best that you can to maximize everybody's value in the right spot on the field as well? I think we can I can always live with losses. If lost the right way, does that make sense? Like, hey man, sometimes they get you. So you know me, I'm fine tipping my cap. Hey, some nights they get you, some days it's not your day. But I got my best guys out there. I'm not really playing for later in the game. I'm not really playing for later in the season. I know Ben was texting with AJ Caswell. I think he was going to talk about it today at some point. And he asked AJ about the interaction he had with Schulte yesterday. You want to play it again? You have it handy. We can play it again. AJ and Mike Schulte talking pregame about Ryan O'Hearn.
Give me 1 second here. I got to pull it up.
Cool.
Like Ryan O'Hearn's had some pretty good numbers against lefties this season. Consider starting him against lefties, or is that you do him as a bench bat against left-handed pitching?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Where would you have started him?
There are places, there's options.
Right.
Necessarily like today or generally?
Today.
It's your call, not mine.
No, I'm just curious. Yeah, he's done fine. It's more about. The reason I ask is I can answer the question more specifically. Not
okay. Well, then today there's two options. Obviously, like maybe left and Laureano center, or DH. But obviously Manny's there today.
He is there today. So Manny's been going pretty hard, and he's played up pretty much every game. So we're giving him a DH day, and Bryce has also swung the bat well against the lefties, and looking at him to get an opportunity to go play and play some center field. So it's a really fair question and definitely consideration. Just want to be specific as to where that could have been. But, yeah, Ryan's done a nice job, and he is a great option for us off the bench.
Going forward, could we see that? Like, obviously, it's day-to-day, completely dependent.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be flexible. It's going to be relative to just the total picture of who we have on the club that day. So I think that's like every day it's always a question of who's going to give us the best opportunity to go compete.
Yeah, and so, Ben texted him about that exchange yesterday, and AJ said something to the effect of, it is August. Just because it looks a certain way now, it may not look the same way in September, and I think that's fair, and I need to go back and look, but Ben did bring up the point. The lineup switched up a little bit last year with Jackson moving up to the top, closer to the top, as the season progressed, and I think,
it took until September before we started seeing any of those radical lineup changes that we clamored for a while.
I do go back and forth on it. I really do, because there's a part of me that likes consistency. And I know players very much value consistency, knowing where they are, knowing what's going to be asked of them. But then there's a part of me too that likes strategy and optimization. And obviously, if it works, well, look at you. You optimized it. Is there ever a scenario, and I think this is what's sticking in people's craw, is there ever a scenario, Paulie, that you see Schulte saying, hey, man, we're going to optimize this lineup, and the best lineup is Luis Ariz in the 7 and Jackson Merrill in the 2, or Ryan O'Hearn in the 2? Do you ever envision that happening? I don't know that I do.
He's not going to put himself into that deep of a corner or whatever, like back himself into a corner that much and be that specific. But I also think he's extremely hesitant to say anything that could potentially upset the apple cart and hurt some feelings.
Well, and again,
because what AJ was asking for was, why isn't O'Hearn starting over Luis Ariz? Is my guess. I haven't talked to him.
Correct.
That's what he was asking, and kind of felt like Schulte was like, well, who specifically? What are you talking about? And AJ didn't give in, but that's what he was asking. That's what all the fans want to know. And to kind of spin it like, oh, it just depends on what we got each and every day and who's on the roster each and every day. And it's like kind of a bit of a nothing answer.
Yeah, it kind of was. And I think that's really what's sticking in people's craw. Like for example, I don't want to see 162 different lineups. I know that there are teams that have done that, and maybe it's worked out for them. But I am also open to seeing that lineup maybe look a little bit better and being a little more optimized with the guys that we got, including All-Star Ryan O'Hearn. I'm here to see it. That's what I want to see. I want you guys to tell me and believe it that you're doing everything in your power to go out and win a World Series. That's what I want to see. And if you do it and you have the best guys in the best spots and you don't win it, I can live with that. I can absolutely live with that. But to have guys like that, sitting kind of waiting their turn for one big swing in the 7th or 8th inning, I don't know, man. I just don't know that it's the best strategy, but they don't pay me for that.
That's where my frustration is. This is my last point on it. We talked about it a little bit earlier this morning, and if anybody missed it, how the last 4 games, and it's a small window, it's a small sample size, I understand that. It's starting to feel like the first half Padres, who could not slug for anything, had to take every bit of energy they had to scrape across a run or two. And then they went on the run after the All-Star break, and we were feeling much better. And now they're kind of regressing back to that. And the whole issue has been slug. And so when you have these new guys now, this revamped lineup, and you have both O'Hearn and Sheets coming off the bench, that's where I'm like kind of putting my hands up going, I don't know, man. Like, I think they should be, one of them at least should be getting some more significant, more everyday at-bats.
I agree with you, man. And again, we'll see how they optimize it or choose to optimize it. And I think a win would do a big thing for this fan base, get everybody to calm down just a little bit. I know it's just, if you can go out and win today, get a little bit better vibes. I'm all in support of that. We'll come back. Got a Reindl Report coming up, but quick, let us tell you about our beloved.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Yeah, I mean, 7 Mile Casino is a part of Ben and Wood's lore. They've been with us forever. We've been with them forever. If you haven't made it down, today is as good a time as any. Got the homestand going on. Great place to go get a pregame meal. Great place to go post-game. Maybe, hopefully not blowing off some steam or frustrations. Hopefully you're going to celebrate tonight, playing a little California-style blackjack, some Texas Hold'em, some Pai Gow poker, or some Baccarat. But yeah, it's 7 minutes from Petco Park, really. I mean, you get on the freeway, you exit, you park, you walk in. Smoke-free environment, slot machine-free environment. Really, really well-done layout. And they take good care of you. That's the thing I like the most is ease of use. It's so convenient, so close to downtown. You're not driving 45 minutes out, parking in a big parking garage. You got everything you're looking for. The food is spectacular. The service is spectacular. So if you haven't made it out, great time to do it. Check out 7 Mile Casino because it is just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, welcome back. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Mercifully, one more segment to go. What a wacky week. We apologize, and we will never speak of today again. That is a problem. We're not going to go in the Wayback Machine, be like, remember that crap show that we had, Paulie? Let's replay some of that. We're just going to forget about it. We're going to move on.
I should not save the worst game in radio history for like a look back on a Throwback Thursday down the road or anything.
No, I'll save it. I just don't want to hear about it today. But yeah, I'd say save it.
I bet in
a
year from now we'll think it's really funny when we hyped up this game. It's brand new. We're excited about it. We tried it out this morning. It was great. And then it was over in about 2 seconds.
It really was a worst case scenario. It really, really was. And trying to throw a curveball by the tier ones did not work out for us this morning. Trying to kill a little clock.
I hope you guys have all enjoyed watching us just squirm today.
I'm pouring sweat right now. It's also because I'm not feeling well, and so I'm sweaty and I'm dehydrated. Beauty is when I get out of here, I can go literally get it. I'm going to crawl in bed and forget that ever happened. We'll come back tomorrow fresh and ready to go. Hopefully to talk about a Padres win. We do have a Reindl Report. Let's get to that after our last check of traffic with the great Kelly Danick.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Still a couple of problems here, guys. One of them is this crash on northbound 5 at the East 54 connector ramp. Up ahead near Pershing, another crash. This one involves a couple vehicles. It's over to the right shoulder. 8th Street on-ramp to northbound 805, a collision. Also, westbound 8, just past College, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles that is over to the right shoulder. Another crash just up ahead before Waring Road. This one is being moved over to the right shoulder. Before you hit the beach, the mountains, or even the 5 this Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Sorry, I moved my camera. If you're watching on the YouTube feed, I moved it so that I could stand up and walk around for the last segment.
That won't be
try to get a little
distracting at
energy. Yeah, that won't. Well, it was trained directly on my wiener when I was standing up, so I had to move it. So I don't want anybody looking at that. That's for one lady and one lady only. And boy, is she happy with me this morning. Holy cow. My littlest one had a little meltdown in front of the school, his first day of school. My other one's very ill. So it's going well. Things are going well in the Ben and Woods family right now.
Well, let's have some fun with some audio here. I think
Yeah,
I can
love
put
audio.
a smile on your face. Woodsy, it is August 19th, 2025. If I asked you, do you know what happened on this day? Would you have any answer for me?
What's the date?
August 19th, 2025. What happened? I'll even tell you 5 years ago today.
I have no earthly idea. None whatsoever.
We were provided with a moment in Major League Baseball that provided us with some pretty unbelievable audio. But what's more crazy is to look back now 5 years is to see how the legend of like this particular moment has evolved. It was 5 years ago today that the Royals and the Reds were playing in a Major League Baseball game, the shortened pandemic season, and Tom Brenneman was caught with a hot mic on the broadcast, and he said some pretty awful things, some homophobic slurs. It was really bad, and it went out to everybody. And
God, I remember it.
Yeah, it took a couple of I think it took like a couple of innings if I remember correctly, where he had to then make an apology. It was out there. Everybody, it was circling on social media. Everybody heard it. And he had to issue a statement. The only problem for old Tom Brenneman was that, well, Cincinnati Reds, now Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Nick Castellanos was at the plate.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith, as there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight.
Now, that was a moment. It brought some levity, I guess, to the whole situation. Everybody had fun with the Nick Castellanos home run. But the way that the legend of Nick Castellanos has evolved since then is kind of crazy to go back and look now with 5 years later.
That is really, really, really something. Really, really something, man. Holy cow. He is the legend of the home run. And we did an Instagram feed where I listed out all the special moments that he's had, and it was crazy. And it got a lot of views. Like, it got a ton of views. It was bananas. And all the different things that Castellanos has homered whilst, a big major event is going on. And it's truly staggering. But, yeah, that moment was nuts.
Wild.
Nuts.
5 years ago now today. So there's that. Now, Nick Castellanos was then moved from the Reds over to the Phillies, and that kind of leads us into our next story because it's has to do with Phillies broadcaster John Kruk, who is just one of the best analysts in the game of baseball. My opinion, he's smart and he's funny, and that's exactly what you want out of your color analyst during the games. And this clip was going around yesterday. He posed a question to his broadcast partner, and it kind of came out of nowhere as far as I could tell. I couldn't see any context that got them talking about clocks. But here's what John Kruk asked, and I'm curious what you would have to say, Woodsy.
The person who invented the clock.
Yeah. Which one? The digital or the hand?
The first clock ever.
Yeah.
How did that person know what time it was?
There is that sundial they might have used.
Is that accurate, though?
No, I guess it's as accurate as it can be. So when you were contemplating the clock thing, did you come up with any answers yourself?
No, I thought I'd ask you.
I would think sundial.
Sundial.
Oh, my God. I think he just blew my mind. I also have a really hard time with time, Paulie. I do. I must have, since I got here, right, I'm 2 hours ahead. And when I was in Hawaii, I was 3 hours behind. The mental gymnastics that I had to do every day and that I have done here, I think about it all the time. I'm like, okay, 2 hours ahead of them. what, like, it is mess. I set my alarm for the wrong time the first day. Luckily, I'd wake up anyway. My mental alarm is pretty good. I have a hard time with time as well, and I think about it quite a bit. And I do think it's brilliant that there's just this arbitrary time that we're like, all right, sounds good to me. It's 12 noon. You know what I mean? It's like because somebody said it, or today is August 19th because, well, this is the wheel that's been set in motion. Then they get the leap year that throws you off every single year. It's crazy. And so John Kruk is a lot smarter. He plays like the oaf, the big dumb idiot. He's not. That's a really, really good question. And
I kind of Don and Mud. Like, can you not see Mud asking that randomly and Don going, I would assume it was just the sundial there, Mudley.
I would think it would be exactly, Mud would ask that question and then he would go, I've got no idea, Mudley. You know what I mean? I really can. It's so good. There's obviously science behind it. I just don't know what it is, nor have I ever thought to really go and check on it. But Crucky just blew my mind. How do we know? Well, you don't. You just take it in blind faith, as you always do.
I loved the clip. I saw it on Blue Sky. Our buddy Craig Calcaterra wrote, cannot believe that this is how we find out that Tom McCarthy is in the pocket of Big Sundial. Low-key,
Big Sundial.
Best part of that is the tone Kruk assumes when he says of the sundial. Is it accurate, though? That's something he has strong... Yeah, he says that's something he has strong opinions about, but he's trying not to make McCarthy feel foolish for his assumptions. So now hearing that, listen to it one more time.
The person who invented the clock.
Yeah, which one, the digital or the hand?
The first clock ever.
Yeah.
How did that person know what time it was?
There is that sundial they might have used.
Is that accurate, though?
Is that accurate, though?
Now, look, I'll be honest, dude. Earlier in the show, if you missed it, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I got a letter from the DMV. Paulie read it on the air. They're basically warning me. I've gotten a couple of speeding tickets in the last 6 months, so I'm at points on my license. There are people in the chat screaming, it's a scam. You got to question everything. I'm not a question everything guy. I'm a question some things guy. And I do find it a little bit like spinning your wheels sometimes to question every single thing that comes around. Now, I could do a better job at questioning things, certainly. But when I got that letter, I went, all right, looks like I'm in trouble. They're not asking me for my debit card or anything. It's probably real. Questioning, did he really know what time it was? That blows my mind because I think you can spin yourself into a tizzy, and I like the people that are always like, come on, man, you're such a rube. You got to question that stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, if it says 11:51 on my clock and my watch, I'm going with 11:51. And that's just one of those things I'm not going to question. Ever.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and then we'll wrap it up.
So funny, though.
I got a story here that kind of has me thinking bigger picture. We're going too far with the subscription service model. Everything in the world nowadays feels like you have to subscribe to a monthly or bi-monthly or whatever. And I saw this story that Volkswagen, now this is only happening in the United Kingdom right now. There's no word on if this is coming to the United States, but it's the idea more than this specific example that had me thinking about this. So Volkswagen has debuted a new subscription service for their electric cars. And it's basically you have to pay extra to get the full horsepower of your electric vehicle. So the example that I'm reading here is, it says the Volkswagen ID3 electric car has 228 horsepower. If you don't pay the fee, which is just over $20 a month, then you only get access to 201 of that horsepower. Now they are framing it as, we're giving people options. If you are a slower driver and you like to drive slower, then maybe you only need 200 horsepower and you don't need to pay that extra money. But if you want to go a little bit faster, you have to pay for it. And I go, that is absurd. And I really hope that is not the trend we're going down.
If you don't need the extra horsepower, can't you just ease up on the gas pedal? Is what if I buy a car, I want everything that it's capable of doing. Period. That's what I want. And
you shouldn't have to pay extra for it.
Right. Especially as it pertains to the way that it drives, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you tell me we can put a better system in there, whatever, fine, I'll pay extra for whatever. But holy crap, I actually need that car. Maybe I would get fewer tickets. I get the 210 horsepower. I would probably be better served.
It might actually be good for you.
Them. It might actually be good for me. Well, so we are wrapping up for the day. Padres take on the Giants tonight. Nicky P, we need you to be the stopper. We need some better vibes on this program in our city, in the YouTube chat. Thank you guys for hanging in. It's probably the worst radio I've ever done. Paulie, I don't want to talk to you. Don't call me. I don't want to rehash it. Let's never mention it again. I want everybody to have a great day. Touch some grass if you can. Braden's up next.
If any of your friends asked, how was Ben in Woods this morning? Just say, I didn't get a chance to listen, actually.
Yep. Love you guys very much. We will we'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Bye. Love you. Bye.